I'm sorry.
Okay. There's Stephen Erzberg, John Brea.
Francesca Ortega.
And Rudy Blanc.
Perfect guys. We have, quorum, six right now. Partials to go.
There's a order of business, is there anything you guys want differently, or is, hey, from an agenda that you're seeing, is there anything that you want to incorporate beforehand, or change, or add, or you just want to go down the list?
No.
Everybody okay with that?
I'm good for now.
Good for now. Good. Any public comments? Welcome.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm in Japanese.
Is anyone else joining you?
Pardon?
Is anyone else joining you?
Well, I hope so. I don't have this meeting by myself.
Anybody else online?
I'm
No.
sorry. I just can't stand up to my sack here.
Gotcha. Okay, I don't think there's any public comments, unless anybody has anything, public. No?
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. I'm gonna make a public comment. 2 weeks ago, there was a great show on TV, on the Tomás Regalado show, speaking about blasting. And Miguel de Grande was up. I know, probably they're wrong, but I'll mention it now because it was in public. It was like 2 Sundays ago. And he said that the blasts, each blast costs $75,000
Oh.
The miners, that's what it costs?
to the miners.
Yeah, I think the Miguel said that
Miguel.
it's 75 to 90 grand.
75 to 90 grand. And he
Something
said,
like that, 75 makes sense.
and, yeah, and you mentioned it, pretty much 75,000 grand. And he mentioned that, like the miners are there first, it's the 50s, again, always the same,
Yeah.
always the same argument and so forth. And then, I don't know, I thought about, well, for the 75,000, maybe it could be some type of a subsidy or something from the city, I have no idea. But it came to mind because that lingered with me on that show. It was a Sunday night. I got the tape already and everything else, I'm gonna share it with you guys. It was in Spanish, but it was very interesting. As to what, how that was, but he put a cost. He put a cost to each blast. So, which I think is what it was. This is what it is. Anyway, that's my public comment for the woman. Nobody else?
No.
Okay, moving to the minutes. I move to adopt, because I think we're very good. And it's, was it January?
Yeah.
We're not February yet. Yeah, I know.
No, we
You did
do,
it?
but,
Yeah.
it's fine, we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. We're going on the other ones.
It just didn't make the agenda. I attached the wrong thing twice on my email.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I motion to accept the minutes, adopt the minutes.
Yes,
as is.
second.
Second. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Yes. Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Motion to adopt the minutes, pass it. All business, folks. HO.
So no update right now, because I literally just got back today at 2:30 AM. So for next meeting, I'll have a better update on the HOA meetings.
Wasn't the town supposed to give us a list of HOAs or something like that?
Yeah, it was provided.
Oh, it was probably.
The original notes was provided.
Perfect.
Actually, I have a question about that before we move to the next point.
Yeah.
I know that at one point, Miguel had offered to be the one that if anything would accompany to the meetings and stuff. Is there anyone else who's willing
I can go.
I think, we
If
have.
I can go.
Yeah.
If I can go, I'll
We'll
go.
just have us work through,
This
at the next meeting, we'll do some sort of motion where then you can discuss. Just say, hey, let's say, allow us to
Okay.
discuss that, because at that point, once we approve it, now we're just coordinating. And if we're coordinating something that we've already approved, then we can go ahead
Of
and
course.
chat, talk about it and
Okay,
figure that out.
so I'll bring like a proposed schedule to the next meeting. If we
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be the best thing.
If everyone had a different schedule, but I agree it has to be a group effort. It's not that big of a group anymore, but.
Right.
Group effort.
That's my main thing I'm gonna mention tonight. Before we need people,
Right, so.
more appointments or more recruitments or whatever it is. But that's. Yeah, the HO marketing, that's very important.
Yeah, of course.
I think
Okay.
the best way to get our message across, other than, something I've mentioned in the proposed report.
Okay.
Schedule to be provided. 6B, maybe it's 2024 board opinion. What do you think? Steve? I
yeah.
know Steve, you're a proponent of that.
Yeah, just something that, again, let's
Okay,
just make
good.
sure it gets on the next, there's only so much time left to
Yeah, I know.
2024.
Yeah, I know. Do we have the last one? Do we have the one? When was
I'll
it?
get the last one, I think it was in 2018.
I think it was 2018
2020?
or 2020, yeah.
The report to count?
No, not report to council, like
Yeah.
the advisory.
Yeah,
opinion.
advisory opinion. from the
It's
board.
on the webpage.
I think it was 18.
No, it wasn't 18, it was from 2020. All I'm saying is we gotta update it based off current laws, the pilot program, what's happened the last few months, and also I think we should be more aggressive. And give the council saying like, these are the things that you can do, and this is what you can do to
Yeah.
really push this, on many different, levels. At this point, I'm taking the approach of all avenues, and there's 3 avenues, there's legal, CFO, administrative, and politics, the legislator, and I think we should advise the council all 3. That's what I think it should say. So I guess at the next meeting, I'll say, hey, these are the three avenues, and these are the potential subparts of those, and then we can discuss them and get that out to them. That's a purpose of the board, right, to advise.
Right.
Did you ever hear back from the CFO or not?
I haven't.
Did you see it? And from Tallahassee? I don't see any movement on the, I checked today.
No, the bill's dead.
Bill's dead.
For this session.
I think they're dead for the session.
It's too late. It's way too late. The session
way
ends-
too late.
the Session ends in 2 days, right? The end of the 7th.
You pass it in the Army today.
But that's okay. That's why we got
That's-
different approaches.
And you're correct. Okay, any other old business, anything else pending, anything else? Not that I know. Going back to my notes. Nothing in Cava, nothing in the county,
I mean, well, I'll reach out to Miguel, and not that,
because maybe they've.
not that he's doing anything, but
Yeah.
they may have, people might still contact him. And
Yeah.
we'll make sure he does his.
Oh, Garcia.
Forward those responses to others, and we should reach
And the
out to
lobbyists.
Garcia,
Yeah.
And the
And the
county
lobbyists,
lobbyists.
the county lobbyists. That we need here. Okay, moving on to new business, March council report, that's next week. Well.
Yeah, so that's why,
It's-
the purpose that I asked
Yeah,
for the meetings is we need to get it approved by the board. This is pretty much, I think, in final
I
form,
was just seeing it.
other than a few things, and actually I have a question for you, I forgot to ask you, maybe you just email it to me tomorrow. Is the total amount of reimbursement requests that have been made so far, so I can know where our budget might be at?
I'd have to
I
check
haven't
if
said
it,
mine.
yeah, so definitely no, but anyways, it takes a while to post.
Right,
So I don't know if it's already.
all right.
I think the budget was
I know they
like
were
$5,000, $21.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get an estimate. We have plenty of money left over.
Right.
How much do you?
5,121, I think is what I was.
Cause I know what Miguel.
My plane ticket was 500.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember the other stuff, but that's the biggest ticket.
Yeah.
Well,
I can give an approximate, like that, I
Yeah.
can give an approximate.
Big budget went up like 5,000.
Yeah, I mean, we probably.
5,000,
spent around
that's what I-
2,000, so yeah, we have probably another 3,000 or so.
I'll get Io the spreadsheet tonight, so if you
I
can just
can share
forward
with
it
you.
to Steven, that way he could work on his ballpark figure.
You have your expenses.
Uh, So the report is just, Miguel sent me I think it's the template, I don't know if it's words used.
Is that the, yeah,
So basically, it just updates the council what's happening. I went into detail about the workshop, including, this is where you can watch the workshop and our results and progress. Discussing, we don't have any events, but upcoming right now, but that we want to schedule HOA appointments, discuss a little bit more about the rebranding. I think we still should
yeah, the marketing.
push on the video at some point.
Marketing video.
Discuss an update on what happened in Tallahassee, future or additional plans, additional lobbying efforts, expanding the reach to 2024 opinion, and I think we do need to look at town lasting page website, make sure we got
Yeah,
everything on
Update
there.
there.
And then progress is discussed here.
I have a question about the page updates. Was there one person that sent the changes to?
I don't think we asked, I think we discussed it, I don't think we necessarily finalized.
Okay,
made a strong request to do this, do that, do that.
okay.
For what,
For updating our page on the website, on the town website, especially the links. Things like that, are just out there. Most importantly, that I want to make sure everyone's okay with is the request from the council, basically our ask. First is search for new members.
Yep.
We definitely need it with Miguel, going, and other members that are not active. And then I will be leaving at some point, probably in August. So I don't want to see continue to dwindle. Yeah, I could, and that's my concern, and that's why we want to have people up here now. Over the next few months, have someone here in June at least, have another 2 people in June would be great. So then they can be part of this for a few months. Before I leave. And then hopefully not coming back, at least for a while. And then see what happens. But we need more people. We can't be around even now. I mean, even if I was staying, we need more people. So and that's also up to us too, whoever we think might be interested in joining, but typically the council members haven't had people in mind that they know might be interested. But that's the most important ask we can make. I kept.
What do you think about bringing like old members? The board?
At this point, anyone who wants to make the commitment, as long as they're really up to it, they gotta really be up to it. And second, I do think that, and this is something Miguel's was big on, which is number 2. I do think that the person needs to speak with the chair and come to a meeting and see what we do. Because it's not a
Yeah.
typical committee.
Before they're onboarded, because if not,
If not, it just makes getting core. I'd rather have 4 really strong people and 8 people before them don't care.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I want our growth to happen, but I want it to happen intentionally in a way that people are willing and able to make the commitment.
Right.
Because
Just as a reminder, because I know you're a little, I think both of you are fairly new compared to, I think the last time we had this conversation. Just as a reminder that although this is suggestion from the committee rules don't require, right, like the council members to have the potential volunteer talk to the chair. Unfortunately, I know that's what you guys are looking
Right.
for, but I just,
Yeah.
I
but
just want you guys to know, because
but
I think there was a change once
But they
upon a
did,
time.
right, but they still require an attendance, but then it's usually, the council usually just,
Mhm.
votes to
Waive it,
waive the rule.
right?
Right, so there's no, I don't know, there's no
Yeah,
reason to
that's the
have a
only
rule if you
rule.
just waive it.
Right.
Even even if they just had that, that'd be great.
Yeah. That's the only current rule
Got it.
that they have to attend a meeting, but as you mentioned, we've seen council members just waiting.
And for past members that want to come back on, I can understand that, but.
Right.
For somebody who's new, I think it's important to come to at least one meeting. Another thing we said
I'm
a lot.
sorry, see, but just that very notion right there tells you exactly the full battle that you have. I mean, I like speaking in plain English, man, that's BS. So how are you gonna have, it's like me, for example. I'm gonna join a Russian language meeting. No one's gonna vet that I speak Russian, so now I'm part of that group. It's just, that's one of those common sense things that obviously, and Brandon, I know we're in government, but there is something called pushback. You give pushback. But, just the status quo is not okay. Just because a council member says it and he's elected and he's got, and the voices of the people in the committee have to be heard, that's not right. Right? It's not right, because to your point, if you're missing meetings, if you don't have the technical expertise to understand what this committee is about.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So my point is, that's not okay,
No, I agree. I think the rules say you have to attend a meeting.
because you should be vetted, right? It's like everything. I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to think out loud. Where is there not a vetting process?
The rules say you have to attend a meeting. And now, at the end of the day, it's up to the council whether they add someone to the meeting or not.
Right.
The idea is that after they attend the meeting, we could meet the person, speak with them. And if we really thought the person was a bad fit, we can, hey, council.
But that's
member,
after the fact.
hey,
Yeah.
this.
Right, and that's just, I'll keep my
That's
comments.
after they've been sworn in. I get what you're saying, and
I get
by
what you're saying.
vetting, we're not talking resumes, like,
No, right, I
it's
think
just to go over like, hey, we meet once a month, are you willing to participate in
Right.
X, Y,
Where do you
Z?
fit
This is
in,
what we
where do you
do.
fit in relative to the strategic vision that we have, where you can help?
Right.
Right? I mean, those are all things, if we're gonna be, again, I'm just saying, moving forward, if we're gonna try to really make an impact, you know, let's call it for what it is, you have to be able to bring fresh ideas to the table. So what's your background, what's your technical background, what do you bring to the table?
I agree.
Just because it's been done like that in the past, doesn't mean we have to do it like that. Oh,
And it's something that Miguel has been very consistent on every time he comes up to the council saying, stop waiting the rooms, especially at least for us. We're not, you know, we're not doing things that most communities do.
I just think they gotta push them.
Well, I can.
Yes, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, it's because, you know,
I will push harder.
Yeah, and it's a technical
Right.
group too, it's not just any.
Right.
group.
Right.
And even if it's any, group, you still the commitment, you know,
Correct.
some type of expertise, I mean, you know, it's a velocity advisory board. At least have the common sense or some type of knowledge
If
of
we're,
what you're dealing with,
if we're expected to provide advice,
provide advice.
but I think show
We need to
initiative to
recruit
be able
people.
to be able to say, you know what, well, to your point, I don't have the technical expertise, but
But-
I'm willing to go ahead and
Okay.
provide me PowerPoints,
Okay.
provide me videos I can go ahead and watch to get up to speed.
now I wanna learn, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's true.
because that's the other part of this, right? It's showing initiative, right? Physically showing up to a meeting is not, in my, is not initiative.
Correct.
Right?
That's not the. Agree. But that's also on us to see if there's people that we think that we know that can. that will-
What she said, right? It's having 4 or 5 that are,
Yeah,
you know,
listen,
versus,
I'd rather have 4 really
Right,
strong,
right.
but I think there's gotta be two people that
know.
want to come in here
And, yeah.
and dedicate a little bit of time for this issue. And that's why it's one of the things for the, you know, the advisory opinion, trying to move, I think we gotta become more aggressive.
Right.
than We have in the past. And, look at all 3 angles. strong.
Are there any
Not
rules
just focus.
on recruitment
and you're-
limitations? And it was more like a tougher question.
There's just committee rules. Your rules are just the committee rules.
are we in open discussion right now?
We're kind of moving.
Well, let's-
Go-
If you want to.
Let's
Go
just
to the report.
finish the report. The last thing is, the Citizens of Multi-Municipality Network, we discussed that we wanted to give our, what do you call it, our copy, whatever. our
Branding,
materials,
materials.
I've been calling it
materials.
media kit.
Okay,
So
that makes
it's a
sense,
media.
media kit to other towns, and then really push them next session. We're still in this situation, they got a lobby too, Hialeah
Yeah.
Gardens and Miramar, like, come on, guys. You're
Yeah.
just gonna sit there and do nothing, it can't just be us. But consistent message, so, the town council can help us with that, legal cities and things like that, and there's also some cities on the west coast now that have this issue. So if, you know, we can get 10 lobbying teams or 7 lobbying teams, not just 1, 2 now, including the county, to actually do work up there, that will help. So, I would move to, allow me to finalize this report and submit it to the town by tomorrow, so we can move, on to the next regular meeting.
That sounds fine.
I second that motion.
Yeah,
I just have, when is the date? Okay.
well, the same time as the council meeting.
Tuesday.
That's it. Yeah. March 12th.
Okay, second, so we have,
Second, third,
you're voting in favor?
Yeah, fine.
everybody agree,
Aye.
everybody,
Sorry,
favor?
I'm writing it down so I don't
Aye.
forget. It's 6:30.
If it's any help, just so you guys know on that note, the town website, the new calendar, I don't know if you guys have checked out the new website, it's a lot more modern.
Mhm.
The calendar allows you to add events,
Done.
like it has a hyperlink where you can add the event, meeting, event, anything to your personal calendar, in case that helps any of you.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I wouldn't have thought about that, but next time, because I just did it.
Okay, we got, 6 minutes. So,
No, I just wanted, because you brought up something very interesting around having a multi-pronged approach. So obviously tackling this blasting issue, right? You said one was government, one was obviously, excuse me, policy.
Legal,
I
legal
mean,
CFO and.
CFO and legislators.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but this is just what I'm getting at, is that I think that we've kind of tackled this all hands on deck in one way. As opposed to saying, you know what, to your point, that there's three areas where we can go ahead and tackle this. Why don't we split up the council, excuse me, the advisory board and attack it from three different areas as opposed to just one?
Like, I don't know if we're big enough. to do
Well,
that.
manpower,
Right.
one,
But
one
I,
is manpower, we have enough
so-
people for that, you know, that's
Yeah.
another.
well, the CFO and legislator are very similar.
Yeah,
It's just pushing the right people or the right buttons, right? Where legislator, that's what we've been doing. That's what the majority of our focus has been. But we've been now the last like 6 months more in the CFO pass as well. And Miguel said in the last meeting that there's some traction there and that, what, I forgot her name, Miss Rice from, I think her name was Miss Rice, but the CFO's office, so those are coming down here to my place. They're being like,
what is that?
going on? I don't know. That's something I want to reach out to.
Here we go.
See,
And,
or just reach out to her directly. But those are pretty much, sort of the same path, right? Legal is a completely different path. And when I say legal, it means somebody has to file a lawsuit.
Right.
And, it could be a person that has nothing to do with the town. It maybe could be the town, it could be a business.
Or person affected.
Because that was
Person
ultimately what the
affected.
Miramar mayor, I mean, I'm going back a little, which is, he said, you know, again, in his estimation, that was frankly the number one revenue to this blasting issue.
It's probably.
Now, what validity to that, I mean, what expertise he has to that, I don't know.
Right, I mean, that's the thing, we need, I don't do that, to do something legal, it would probably be outside the town, but there's a request we can make for the town to say, listen, guys. Do you want to sit here for another 20 years? You want to try to do something? This is a course of action that you can have, this is one. You should have the town attorney look at this. Does the town have a case, because their buildings are being damaged, that the DOA provision is unconstitutional?
You get
Right,
it.
that's it. Everything else, there's nothing the town could do. There's other ideas that I've had that personal people could do, such as PTSD issues with the blasting, and you can try to get a moratorium, try to get a Miami County Circuit Judge to enter something. There are claims that don't go through DOA. It goes to it goes to a state court judge, and the state court judge, who knows? Honestly, it's you don't know what the judges are thinking on the issue. But the DOA issue, I feel like the town maybe could do something, but it's not I think it's our job to say, this is our position, why don't you have the town attorney give an opinion on it and decide, because at the end of the day, we hope Fabricio's bill can move again next year. There's obviously clear traction, or at least a little bit more worry that we're onto something. But, you know, a court case like that could be over a year, where it takes years, up to 3 to 4 years just to get a workshop.
Right.
Which is, that's the law, that's how strong of the lobby we're fighting against. For the first time, we sort of weren't alone. I don't know how much the county actually did in this very short period of time they were on our side. Hopefully we'll get that again next year, but this path is like completely separate, and it can be much faster.
Right, and that's what I was gonna ask you,
Yeah.
have we gone down that path, just inquire?
I'm not, I'll look at the last board opinion. I don't know if they ever gone down that path. And it's not something we can do. We can't go out there and do it ourselves. We can only ask
That's
the
right.
town to do it.
To your knowledge, we've never asked,
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think it's-
I don't think.
do we know the why, like, why we haven't done
We've been discussing it in detail like 2 or 3 years ago, when we had Lorenzo here, and we were talking about the law, and you know, look, the town's not in the business of filing lawsuits, but at the end of the day, could it provide relief to its residents? Yeah, maybe. If not, anyone else can do it. It doesn't have to be the town, but I've yet to have somebody come knock my door and say, all right, I'll be the one that files a lawsuit in the state of Florida. So, I mean, maybe that's something I guess we do outside the board. I don't know, we talk to people, but
I don't know, turn your point of
anyone can do it.
I think you
Anyone can
better,
put their name and say, I think this law is unconstitutional. I have damages. I don't want to go through both. Doesn't have to be the town.
Through the chair, just giving you guys a reminder.
Yeah.
We have another meeting starting in a minute.
Okay. So we got here to do what needed to be done.
You're gonna Send me, you have any changes to that or?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
And then, the other thing is that we would need minutes.
For today.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
The
problem.
red cities.
That's right. Yeah, that'll be simple.
Do, our meeting is in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, the 18th.
Yeah, Monday, the 18th at 7.
I believe there's a state rep. That's in favor of us in Broward. I think he's in the Maryland, the new guy.
Okay.
He was at the only Republican meeting.
Okay.
It's,
Yes,
it's the biggest.
I think we'll,
I'm trying to find his name.
I think we'll get, I think we'll have, I'm confident that we'll have a lot of momentum next session, but you know, we thought the same thing. We did get a big push this year, but I think we gotta review all options, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Okay. Motion to adjourn. Second, adjourn. Thank you, guys.
Was that streamed or no?
I think we're gonna have to manually upload it or something. Hopefully, yes.
If possible, if I can get the quick, if you can. I don't know how, I guess it's okay, I think I can do this by then. Very nice.
It's not follow up with the end, like, no, but I think it should have recorded.
Okay, just let me know.
There it is.
Let me know when.
Yeah, we're, well, I hate. Yeah, I got so much fun. I think of you.
All right, guys, let's call this meeting to order. It is 6:05. And we'll do a quick roll call. And
Stephen Hertzberg,
Yes, here, yeah.
Felicia Salazar. Present. Mario Pineda. Not here. Dottie Wicks,
Here.
Matthew Casamayor,
come here. There he is.
Lindsay
Right.
Pollack,
Grand entrance.
Rudy Oredo,
Present.
Mero Cruz, Bernard Amaro, Ruben Arguelles, Nancy Rogers,
Here.
Jose Fernandez,
Here.
Ryan Holland, Vivian Levy, here, William Perez, Brian Rodriguez,
Present.
Rudy Blanco,
Yeah, Rudy Blanco.
For,
Vice Chair for last.
Yeah, he's the vice chair.
it's not Stephen.
No, but, Miguel resigns.
He's-
Yeah.
I guess Stephen now is chair.
I think,
We didn't have the, we.
I think.
After July's another.
Exactly.
Oh, and so-
William Perez,
Order of business, anybody have any deferrals, additions, or deletions to the agenda before we adopt it?
I haven't seen it.
All right, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public comments, anybody who's not a committee chair who wishes to make any comments before we kick off the meeting? All right, public comments are closed. I'm gonna rearrange something. I should have done it during the deferrals. I just want to throw out real quick, number 6, before we go into the committee reports. The only reason it's on here is not really for a whole lot of conversation or debate. What it is, I just wanted to put it on your guys' radar that probably within the next 3 months, it's gonna be the beginning of budget season. So I just wanted to throw that out because sometimes you guys don't have the opportunity to meet every month and so forth. It may be wise to maybe within the next meeting or two of your committee to start talking about whatever budget proposals you're gonna put together for the summertime, because the very first step in the budget process are the committees. And the committee probably sometime in July or June, you'll have your your meeting with the council members. So it may be something you guys want to start in your committees, just start looking at and start putting together whatever request you want to make to the council. So that's all I wanted to kind of throw out there. So under committee reports, blasting.
Okay, one of the biggest changes in blasting the last month was the resignation of Miguel Martinez. And we took that into account and I don't think I think it's a big loss, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
Very hard to replace. They're very hard to replace. That's a really hurt person. But as he would like it, and as we would like it, as everybody like, it, gotta keep on. Gotta keep on some way, somehow.
No, and it's for-
Whether it's me or
reason
whether
for
it's
him and his
him, whether
family,
it's
right?
his
It's an opportunity for him and his family, so that's.
Family and his career,
Right.
you know, advancement and everything else. Other than that, we need people in a committee. One of the things that we were just meeting right before this meeting. That's one of the big.
You're a 7-member or 14-member?
We're 7.
No, we're.
No, we're actually 14.
14, up to as many as 14.
Up to as many.
Because we have 7-member committees, 14-member committees, and 21-member committees, I think. Yours, right? Yeah. Or what did I say, 20?
21.
Yeah.
So we really need that. We really need you know, a good recruits, good qualifying. You know, because it's a very special committee. It's an advisory. A little bit different. It's very technical. You have blasting issues, you have a variety of issues going on that I think is very important. That we do get the right people and committed people to it.
How many do you have on there now?
You know, we have what, 4, 6 is what we have.
And I guess the vacancies,
And the
like every month get
vacancy-
pushed up to the council. They're aware of vacancies that they.
I don't think they get a lot of applications, so.
Well, sometimes it's gonna take them to go out and recruit, and if they're not getting,
It's a recruiting effort for our board.
okay,
We're making the requests.
okay. Yes, sometimes it may,
You-
unfortunately, it may fall on you guys to do some of that heavy lifting, yeah, so.
Starting from the top, let's go to Tallahassee. Last month, it was Stephen and the rest of the crew. I couldn't make it. I had an operation during the time. But in Tallahassee, for the first time, we made some headways up there. Had a very good presentation. It's recorded, it's everywhere. And I think we made headways, no matter what. Whether it was at the beginning of the session or that meeting, I think we made headways and we made our stance up there in Tallahassee. So I think that was very good. And I congratulate the team on that and so forth. Unfortunately, though, I don't think our bills with Tom Fabrizio and Brian Avila are going anywhere in this session. I think that they're still there. I just checked this morning and I made a couple of calls here and there, and I don't think it's gonna go, but at least we've made, we're trying.
Got a hearing, right? Got a workshop?
Got a workshop on that and everything else. So we got to follow up again with Fabrizio, we're gonna follow up with Brian Avila. One of the next steps. In terms of that, we also have moving down to the county, we now have, based on Senator Garcia's resolution, lobbying efforts from the county to be able to help us in Tallahassee too, so we can use the resources of the county to help us out. I think that's very important. That's key to do it. We're following up with that at the local level too. And then we also have the CAVA findings. Our mayor, as you know, was here in town. A lot of things were back and forth, and we're still trying to follow up and the request with Alcala to give us an update. Have they come back to the miners? Have they come back to find out what the findings were? Because there was some back and forths and contradictory findings, as you could say. So that's at the local level and so forth. What that we have. So our lobbying efforts have to increase, they have to keep on, there's no doubt about that. At the local level, I think the board itself, we're trying to get homeowners associations involved much more. We're trying to do weekly meetings with the town has provided us a good list of all the homeowner associations in town. We're trying to get a hold of them, meet with them, and get that always moving, always that involvement, which is critical for our needs, for our focus, to be involved with all the homeowners associations and so forth. And the marketing efforts too. We have, we try to bring it up with the town too on the branding. What can we brand? We have logos now, and trying to make an effort to get the message across as to what we're doing, you know, locally too, and at the municipality level. We've got an update, we probably have a Basin Advisory Board opinion that we're gonna come up with. Steve is working on that too, to exactly address 3 key points that we want to bring up to the council. The legal side, the CFO side, and also with the politicians, and what we think should, what avenues I think we should take. And then, other than that, marketing efforts are still going on. We're updating our website, making sure that they have the latest information, the latest links, and latest information that we can have. And that's what we're doing now. Steve, I don't know if you got any other requests that we have. No, our report is due next week.
Yeah, we're meeting with the council next week. Thank you for allowing us to have the call today and
Yeah.
get that report out. It's important.
Yeah.
About the workshop, everything happened. We have, it's good news, but then some ask from the council, so hopefully,
Perfect.
we'll get everything going.
Yeah.
We're not stopping.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Felicia, Cultural Affairs.
Good evening, everybody. I just did a quick, outline someone for that. At our last meeting, we went over our calendar of events, which I want to share with you because I know, they keep saying that we need to collaborate with other committees. And I have it here. I had to make a little change here, but it's one thing that is pending. Our last event was the Motown Review, which was very successful. We did it at Miami Lakes Middle School. It was, we had him here years ago and it was packed. So we said, let's move it to another venue because this place is too narrow, too small. So in an effort to, like I said, to collaborate with the rest of these committees, I hope that we can get a consensus of. And I was thinking, I'm always thinking of ideas, is to create some kind of universal calendar, like, somewhere in this room, this is like a workroom. So everybody can see who's doing what and also coordinate. And I brought copies of the school schedule, the calendar, because actually our event, we didn't know they had the long weekend. So, I think it was President's Day. So it was like, luckily, we were able to, but it got a little bit crazy because it was one weekend. So I think it's good that we all check on events that, like football games, baseball games, because otherwise people don't show up to our game. We need to coordinate and events because they have priorities. So I think this is something that we can work together on this. And, also, this is the calendar, if anybody wants to see it, I had it recommended. But I think the universal one is good because everybody can check and put in we had, sure. I recently met with, via Zoom with the department, Miami-Dade Department of Cultural Affairs, and they were very happy that, they can help us, with resources. I sent the email, because they're interested in meeting with the council and basically, the presentation was short, but very, where the money's going and they have a lot of resources that they can provide to us if we don't have a cultural center, unfortunately, that they can help those venues with resources and monetary, so that I would like for, they're either willing to do it via Zoom or come to a council meeting, and then just give a quick presentation of it.
What do you report, Felicia? When does your committee report to the council?
It's in May,
In May?
I think, right? It should be something that I have to work on and present it to the committee for their approval.
But that would
Yeah,
be
they
good.
reported me.
May. That would be good to have that on your report, which is that meeting together with maybe the answer is like in an informal setting, like a workshop or something.
Yes.
Together.
I don't know if all of them, I spoke to one of the persons who handles the financial portion of the resources, so that was good. And today, actually, I got an email from them, from the county, saying that it was good that we got, her name is Ashley Thomas,
Mhm.
which is the deputy director. of the department. And she was very happy. Actually, I sent her a copy of our Motown review. Unfortunately, they had a workshop or something, and said, no, please give us calendars so we can share with the staff and we can promote our events. So that was very helpful. So they're very happy and to help us out. And what was the other thing I talked about? No, it's basically, what we're doing and getting our team together, everybody to get a consensus of what we're gonna do, who's gonna be sharing what committee for the events, and then one of the questions that I will ask you and the town is, I remember years ago I had a boss that used to say, I'm here to help you make me look good. So my question to you is, what can we do to make the town look good? I mean, we need your help as far as, promote the events and a lot of things that we're still struggling with. So that's basically my concern, that, even though we have, and actually at the Motown review event, I noticed that there weren't that many members. So it's something that either we're doing wrong or the events are not being promoted. We had like 250 sign off, it was sold out, and I think 180 something came. So it's something, and I think I sent out a little link to another. I know we're trying to get away from Eventbrite, but it's something that promoting our event is key. And it's actually, the other one that I was concerned about was, I know that you finished a survey of, the events that people want. And I don't know what percentage of people responded, but we have 31,000 residents here. And I think we had only 800 something people that returned. Can we check on that? Because to me, it's like, one recommendation that I have is to put that survey on the website. So continuously, people who missed it the other time, they can go back and check what they want.
Clarissa, did we put out the results of the survey to the committees?
Yeah, I believe we.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw the results,
Okay,
but to me, it was a very small percentage of people.
Yeah, it wasn't a statistically valid survey.
right.
It was a social
Yeah.
media, Miami Laker, here's the link, please.
It would have cost thousands of dollars
No,
to
but I
do.
think if you put it on the website and people can say, what events would you like? It will be something that.
Like a perpetual
A
survey?
perpetual survey.
Well,
Something-
the survey did exist on the website.
Yeah.
Through
Yeah, but you already
through
did
news
it out.
release.
I'm recommending.
Yeah, there was a start.
No, I
date
know,
and an
but
end date.
Right.
it was on the website. And, we, of course, use our newsletters or social media. I've seen municipalities with hundreds of thousands of residents that when they put out something like that, where they're not putting dollars into it, it's just a nicely curated survey monkey. I mean, hundreds of thousands of residents.
I was thinking about monkey.
Survey monkey.
Survey monkey.
I've seen them only receive 2,000 out of hundreds of thousands of residents. So,
But there's
when we look at
new
30
people coming into the town.
no,
I
of
mean,
course.
And I know that the old people like us, Nancy, that have been here like forever, know what's going on, but the new people, some people don't know what's going on. I meet people in the farmers market, which unfortunately is not happening. That's another thing that we need to adjust to, because we were gonna do the parent picture mom there, but now we're gonna have to use another venue if that doesn't come back. So, it's a lot of things that we're juggling. So, but hopefully I'm optimistic that everything will work out.
There's no farmer's market.
Huh?
Close.
It goes out?
Yeah, their permit and their insurance expired at the end of February. So we're now, we put out a solicitation and we're having an evaluation committee and we should have a recommendation to go before the council next week on. There were 2 people who responded to the solicitation. The contractor that was doing it until the end of February and one other entity. So we got to do the evaluation committee and make a recommendation to the council next week. So hopefully it'll take them whatever, a week or two to get up and running. And if it's the previous, I'm not even sure, I haven't even looked at it.
I'm not being biased, but the previous one has helped us a lot.
Yeah.
Because they provided tents for our events, and they've been very helpful, not just to us, I know they work with other committees. And that would save our committee money, so
Yeah.
I thought I'd please figure out if we can do it at the old place, which I don't think we're gonna have that much traffic. Because we did it there when we had the farmers market over there. But it's something to think about, you know, it's like, does it work for the town, you know, it's something, you know, that. I know, I mean, it's fair, our keeps are a fair way to pick the best, but I think so far, we're happy with, you know, the help that we have. Okay. This other company, the existing one. Thank you. Any questions?
Anyone? All right, elderly affairs.
Our biggest event is the bingo, which is becoming challenging lately. We had one problem where there's a door behind where I sit for the people to sign in. And this one guy would be on the list, sit down right behind me at that table. And then two other people would come in. I said, "I'm sorry, you're not on the list. If you want to wait, the guy will let you in." But what they do, he'd open the door and then get in his seat, and I'd be sure to see I'd have to take some seats we sit at and give to them. We caught him, so now we're locking the door until we've all start, and then we let them go in. Or, you know, they go in or they leave. And then, at the last one, we had, 4 new ones that came to never been. And I don't know what they thought it was, but they sat at the end, they were seniors, sat at the back, and they were just having a big party. I mean, all the seniors are complaining to me, we can't hear. So I stood up and I looked at them 2 or 3 times, and finally they calmed down. I let them know, this is bingo, this is not a party time, this is bingo. So there's a few challenges we've been coming across, but the bingo is our
Bingo
biggest.
could be fun.
It could be if, try it with 120 seniors though. And they all have a different view on what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is. They just won't. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. We've got our big, what is our name? Our big, party area.
What am I saying?
The field trips are coming.
No,
No,
not
the-
the field
no,
trip.
the-
It's the end of this.
The baseball trips are coming up, right?
Yeah, oh, yes, that, they're waiting, they're buying me for that. So, I thought there was some other big part that we.
This is starting.
That's
No, you guys haven't confirmed it yet.
Oh, okay.
No, I was
just trying to think of the different events that we have.
Well, yeah, they're anxious for the field trips, the baseball game, that usually fills up too.
What is the age limit for those? I'm trying to say, I'm getting close to qualifying for those,
They'll let you in.
I'm
As long as you're in our group, they'll let you in.
getting close, I'm close. I think it's 65. I'm gonna,
But you have to put your name in right away.
We don't check ID.
no, but the Marlins do.
No, they really don't.
No?
They just, we're in a group and Pedro gets them together and they go up and sit down.
Right here.
So,
And the hard part, because what I have tried to do in the past is I would go and just buy a seat in your same section, but then every single game, they kind of move the section around. It's in a different
Yeah.
spot of the stadium, because if they said it was section 120 every single time, then that makes it easy, but they don't, they move it around.
and then you can say you're part of the party to helping out and they let you.
This season, I'm going to at least one game.
Well, that's about all I got for this quarter. We're just been a little challenging the last couple of bingos, but we're finding new ways to deal with them.
Do we have to have a standby officer, to control the seniors? No? Okay.
Maybe some of the girl ladies would like it.
Economic development, Matt?
Yep, so for us, things have been pretty steady. Now that the holidays are over, we're good finally on form and all that, so that's always good. We've been doing networking events. We've only done one so far this year. We're gonna start planning the next one coming up. What I want to see more from those is just more attendance. This last one was smaller. The last couple we've had have been a little small. It was at BB's Bakehouse, and the other one I think was at Strega in like October, and they've both been kind of small. So I want to see some more people. We're gonna try to push that a little bit more on at least the Chambers Eventbrite and stuff like that. Like we're gonna try to give it more time. Other than that, we're trying to do a business boot camp again. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like towards the end of last year, September, right? Last year we did like a little hands-on boot camp where we had people from the county come in, and there was I mean, it was mostly just the county, right?
It was the Miami County, it was
The-
FIU. it
Yeah,
was,
FIU.
The Greater Miami Chamber, no? Or the Beacon Council?
I
or-
think.
They came to visit, but they didn't send a speaker,
Got
the
it.
Greater Miami Chamber. Everybody spoke to them, but they sent a representative. But it was just like an opportunity for people to listen and hear out where they can get involved in the county or in the town, you know, and how they can help them out in business. And it was pretty good. But one feedback that we got and what we felt was that people wanted it to be more hands-on, you know, where you can kind of walk out with something, you know, where you have a deliverable, or you kind of walk in and somebody's there giving you like a sort of hands-on lesson where you kind of, you know, like my example always goes back to social media because that's kind of what I know, and like websites and all that. So it'd be something along the lines of like, you know, set up your Google My Business, you know, and do things a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more ground level, you know? And then we kind of go from there. So that's something that we're working with. We want to think about a different venue, maybe. Last time we did it here in the town. We're thinking now maybe Energy Mendez or something, because the EDC's done that before in the past.
Yes.
And actually, I have a meeting with them tomorrow. So I'm
Excellent.
gonna talk with them and see how that goes and
Very good.
figure something out. And they also want to partner with the EDC too, AGM. They want to figure something out. So I'll talk to them tomorrow. Other than that, the big thing and why I'm glad that we're all here, is we've had a couple Main Street business owners kind of come up to us, either in public comments or just me separately on the side, to discuss about bringing more to Main Street, you know, because they say it's the town center. It's like the heart of the town. This is where, you know, we should see more hustle and bustle, you know, more going on. And, you know, it kind of aligns with what you were saying. Pretty spot on. No, yeah, I'll let you jump in now. But, when it comes to this, we just wanted to see if there was some way that maybe the EDC can tag along. Maybe like, again, my mindset right now is in Main Street, but it would be maybe with some of these events that are coming up, either in Main Street or just events that are going on that can somehow involve, we're thinking right now, restaurants. So something along the lines of, like, let's say here there's, right, paint a picture for mom on May 11th, right? Let's say you go to that and like, you know, by going to that, you get a little coupon, right? For, you know, Main Street, because this is in Main Street, I'm saying. So like you get a little coupon for, you know, businesses in that local area, you know, 10% off or something along those lines. You know what I mean? Just something to kind of inspire people that are going to these events to maybe go check out some of the local businesses too. You know, and especially if you're saying people from outside Miami Lakes, you know, for me, that's a good thing. You know, get people from outside Miami Lakes to also check out these places too. Because that's something we hear a lot too. Like I know Carlos on the EDC, which is owner of Chudda's as well, says that he, you know, that a lot of what we need here is people outside coming to Miami Lakes, experiencing and, you know, adding more to what's going on at Main Street. They always bring up the ideas of like Doral City Center and like those kind of places and how there's just a lot going on.
And
you know?
George too. George says the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember being a kid and Radio Disney being a thing here. And I remember like being all excited as a little kid. So like, you know, just stuff like that, you know. I don't know what we can do, you know, or what I can do, but just to start of get the conversation going again, you know, that's what they want to
Main
do.
Street does not have like a merchants association, right, of the ones that are just specific to Main Street?
I don't think, I know that they do? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Main
They
Street
do,
merchants.
they do, yeah.
Okay.
They do,
They do.
but are they active? Do they get together? Do they
Yeah.
coordinate efforts, like something
That-
like that, like a sheet of
That
discount?
I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Say-
That's ready to reach out then.
Is that more towards the town or the Grahams or
No,
is that?
Rams.
No, the
Okay.
grant
I
would
think
be the
it's-
coordinator of that, yeah. But
I think the
that's,
Grahams might.
yeah, something for you to consider reaching
Graham.
out to them.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we have.
We have
on
a
that. Yeah.
Yeah, Felicia.
Yes, actually,
sorry.
years ago, when the Civic Association was active, they used to have members from the different businesses, and you would get a membership, and you would go to the different stores and get discounts. So they, after the Civic Association disbanded, I think the town tried to do it, but they did like a temporary thing. I don't know if it worked out. Obviously, you know, it stopped. But yeah, we used to do a lot of activities on Main Street. Actually, the Motown Review, we started it on Main Street. We used to have an event called Main Street Live on Friday nights, and we would bring different groups to play for Cien Montaditos is, that was our stage. And we had a big crowd of people coming in.
These are pretty good.
They
Work out very well. These
Work
exotics work out very well. Yeah, 16%.
Because after they left the movie theater, they would hang out and listen to the music and I mean, Main Street is a beautiful, you know, space and we're not using it.
Dottie?
I was just thinking, what about a day at the movies for the seniors? They could go to the movie and then go around shopping up and down Main Street.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
And I pass it through my committee, but
Yeah, I'll throw it on our agenda
we can
too.
get a good movie there.
Yeah.
It would be,
Yeah, it
Give
would
them a
bring
day out.
activity.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Daytime, weekday, daytime activity where it's probably a lull
Yeah.
for the.
No, yeah, that's a fantastic idea.
Cool. Anything else, Matthew?
No, I mean, that's basically it. I just wanted to kind of pitch that idea and see if maybe we can get everybody's mind churning a little bit on Main Street. That's it. Thanks, guys.
The other thing is, the ribbon cuttings are very good.
Oh, yeah, that too, as always, yeah. The ribbon cuttings has become second nature for me now. But yeah, we do all the ribbon cuttings, they've been going well. I'm just glad to see everybody coming out. Like, I know every once in a while we've got committee members and council members coming out. And again, that's always welcome to anybody. I think the best way to keep up with ribbon cuttings now, and I hate that I'm plugging this, is Tico's Instagram. So you can follow him there and it'll show you when the next ribbon cuttings are coming. He always posts it
Somebody
there.
know, or?
Yeah, you know, we're a little familiar. He's like my assistant, you know? Man, that's it, guys.
Very good.
Neighborhood improvement, Mr. Llorens.
Actually, I'm speaking for Lindsay. She asked
Oh,
me to
okay.
come up here. I'm part of the mental health task force.
Good.
Okay, so hopefully once the farmer's market gets back online, May 18th, we're hoping to have like an information tent, try to introduce the whole, town to what the mental health task force does. We're walking around, we're trying to get some sponsorship for a few things, and we're working up the sponsorship agreements. The big event, we're gonna have a big event. We're gonna try to do a walkathon in September. That's Suicide Awareness Month. It's gonna be on Veterans Park. You just walk around Veterans Park. So, we will need some police, but not a lot of police. And we're still kind of fleshing out the concept. But of course, we'll have sponsors for that as well. For the Veterans Park, mental health walkathon, or suicide awareness walkathon. The last thing is, I know we sent a memo, I don't know where it is, we sent a memo as we're developing the website. We sent a memo, basically the website referral was limited to just charitable organizations. The thing is, charitable organizations that do mental health, they have a backlog of like 3 months. I don't even know if this is bad. I mean, we sent it a while back.
I have not.
Okay,
Who was it addressed to?
it was addressed to you and the town attorney, because it was asking for a legal opinion. Because the concern is,
So legal opinion would not come to me.
well, I think it was via you. though.
Okay,
It was via you. So the thing is, the concern is if it's a 3-month backlog to get mental health treatment for just a charitable organization where they're just purely charitable. It's kind of like the old, mental health treatment delayed is mental health treatment denied. If someone's in a crisis, 3 months is a big darn deal. So we're trying to say, can we list companies and organizations that basically take insurance, take Medicare, take Medicaid, and are in a local area, et cetera. That way we can get people in to get treatment and referral as fast as possible. So that's the one thing that I know we sent that up about, I don't know, I want to say a month and a half ago. And I haven't heard word, so
I'll look for it.
if you need to, I can just send it right to you again. Well, I never send it to you directly, I send it to the staff.
It may have gone to our town attorney or the deputy town attorney.
Yeah, it may be sitting on their desk, who knows?
Yeah.
But I just want you guys to consider that, because really the concern is it takes too long to get people in, because it's a 3-month waiting list for those public charitable organizations. What's that?
I have a question. Sure. With mental health issues, it's not something that you can sort of really plan for. And if someone has some kind of an event, you need immediate action. You're not going to have time to get them into a facility and all that other stuff. So is there a possibility, is it legal, is it workable to have some of our residents who we know are, let's say, on a list that can register in advance? So let's say me, for example, I have an episode where I'm kind of flipping out and family can't handle it. So we call perhaps police or fire to come out. Now they say this person needs to be admitted somewhere. Well, gee, we got facilities not in this town specifically for mental health issues. Most of those, I think, sort of like in Broward. But anyway, so is there any way that we can have some kind of a list or a program in advance. And if that person is on that list and we're aware of what their problems are, we can act faster. And then we're not talking about some really serious incidents and physical things
We
or
already have-
whatever.
Yeah, we have a registry.
Yeah.
We have a registry.
We have the special needs safety program. So you can register with the police department and you can give out all your information. In case the police has ever called to your home, they already know, you know, your background, your health history, you know, whatever you want them to know that you put on your application, they will come with that information.
So if someone has dementia,
Additionally,
yes,
Additionally, you say you have a list. Now let's go to what I know about elderly affairs. If I remember correctly, there's some kind of a magnet or a paper or something that we put on the refrigerators for the doctor's information and stuff like that. So I think all the committees in some way, or most of them in some way, can have some kind of educational type input. And maybe even if you had some kind of an event where those ideas can be shared and worked out or things added to it. And again, a card or a magnet that sticks to the refrigerator so that anybody handling a call there says, oh my gosh, they're already registered with so-and-so, here's a number to call, and a facility to go to and that type of thing. But you have to share the information, and even though it's private, on that person's refrigerator helps the responding agencies.
right. And that's the goal of the May 18th event at the farmer's market, is to share all the information and resources. What I was referring to was the website. I talked about that earlier, but I was referring to the website itself. If you go to the mental health task force website, it breaks down by age, gender, veteran status, family, elderly, etc. And you link onto those and click onto those, and it should give you resources. It's still kind of being created because it's a new website and all that stuff. And it lists resources. And we were told we were limited to just purely charitable organization, as a resource. And they have a 3 months waiting list. And so we want to be able to expand it to list those who are not charitable organizations, private organizations that take insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera. In other words, it's free to the consumer, pretty much, except for the whatever copay may be, that are local, et cetera. So that way people can get in quicker and see someone fast. If it's an acute situation, I'm pretty confident we already have this set up with if you want to be proactive, you have the registry. So for example, if you have someone in your household with dementia, autism, or schizo disorder, if you're on the registry, the police already know and have the Baker Act if they need to do a Baker Act type of situation, so they know how to handle that. I'm looking at more chronic conditions, depression, anxiety, et cetera, that can kind of become an acute situation if it's left untreated for too long. That's what, I'll send you,
Yeah.
I'll send you the memo directly.
I'll find it
And,
where it's,
And so we can just expand the pool of resources so we can help deal with the issues facing our towns.
Last question, if you may.
Yes.
Is how do you, other than bringing it up at a meeting like this, how do you get that information out to the residents if it's needed? Because some are embarrassed, they're not gonna come and ask, not gonna say, hey, my mom, has these problems. I'm not aware of it, and yet I've had experience with relatives and whatever, and that type of thing. So that's why I'm curious about it, because
No, I mean, that's a
it's
great
not
question. I
an
mean,
easy thing when you've got an emergency and somebody's flipping out.
Yeah.
And you don't have any idea who to call.
one, we have the website that's setting up. 2, we're gonna have that May 18th event, farmers market, and 3, we're gonna have that suicide awareness walkathon. With the idea being not only we have vendors, but we have mental health providers with 10 store sponsors to provide information to folks who are interested or have a family member who is suffering from mental health disorders.
I would hope we could get that information out.
Yeah, so I mean, with the mental health task force, it's a pretty new task force.
yeah,
And, we're just really now getting started by creating, anchor events every year and, things that we're gonna start pushing out. So those are great questions, Nancy. Thank you. That's all I got for mental health.
All right, thank you. Rudy?
Good evening. I apologize for my voice. I'm Rudy with the Neighborhood Improvement Committee. So I have a handful of items. One of them is in April, we'll have our last bike ride for the season. We are partnering up with the Special Needs Advisory, and the theme is going to be autism awareness. So that should be good. Believe that's probably the first time that we do this. So we're definitely looking forward to that. I wanted to ask her to see by any chance, because I know that we tried at one point, but there wasn't any, we couldn't get like these special bicycles and stuff like that. Are you guys doing anything with regards to that, or the kids are coming already with it? How are you guys exactly promoting it on your end?
We tried to get those bikes before, it's not easy. But most of the kids, they know how to ride. How does you want
We do have our bicycles, but I know that we tried it at one point and it was a challenge. Some of the kids that were not able to ride, a bicycle, but we still wanted to have them to enjoy the event. So I just wanted to see if that was
We
something
have
that
our meeting on Wednesday, so we're gonna be discussing that.
addressing.
What day is that, Rudy?
April 6th.
April 6th. And on that same token, I wanted to chime in on what's your name, I'm sorry, sir?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Matthew.
Matthew, okay. I want to make sure I get the right name, the right committee. All these acronyms, it's hard for me to keep up with who's who. So I want to give you a name that was yours. So I don't know, and you can tell me, have we chosen a departing location for that one yet? Because I haven't seen.
I have it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we, the committee, hadn't confirmed yet, so for purposes of putting it out there, we just chose, Royal Oaks Park.
Okay.
And also because you guys haven't done anything on that side as of lately.
Okay, so I was gonna, if it's still up in the air, I was maybe gonna say if we can depart from Main Street. I don't know, maybe that's an option. I know I haven't seen the flyer, nor have I seen the route that we're gonna be doing.
Did the depart location?
Yeah.
It's been on our calendar, at least since I don't know the exact date. The Eventbrite has been out and that had already gone out to our followers.
So
And is that too far to go from Royal Oaks to Main Street? At least,
yeah, typically when the ride is coming out of Royal Oaks Park, we
Keep it on
stayed
On the
we
west
stayed on
side.
the west side, yeah. It's a long.
no, and the hard part is getting across the Palmetto and 154. It's a little challenging.
I think doing it on Main Street will give the class more exposure because there's people, walking around and you can see maybe they have family members more autistic and they will be exposed to that.
We can ask police, but it's just, I guess it's up to the committee because it's been promoted as.
You guys meet again before?
We do, March, yes. we do. Yes.
All right, so I guess.
I have it on the agenda for that. I was just gonna look at Eventbrite. To see, so it's already on Eventbrite, the first read?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
location.
on our Facebook and
How many RCPs do we
I
have
mean,
there?
6.
I mean, it's still
Yeah,
far away.
this is like the trailing portion of it. I don't think it would be like the most drastic thing ever if we moved it, because we still have the Naples.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
We have the Naples newsletter, we still have
Right.
the.
So let's put it like a TBD and then once they make their decision, we can confirm it.
Cool. I appreciate that, man. Thank
Of
you.
course. On that seat,
I have a question.
Yes, of
Before you
course.
move on the bike ride. I've never attended a bike ride, so can you describe, you provide bike?
we do, most of the people bring their own bicycles.
Yeah.
We do bikes that were given to us by Bike 305. And we do have them there available, typically every ride, correct?
Yeah.
How many are there?
10?
That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of like a first come, first serve.
Yeah, there's a limited number, right?
If you have a bike.
It's probably such a short radius.
Because those bikes are hard to ride.
Yeah, we don't put in text, you know, you can have a free bike.
Right.
courtesy
Yeah,
of
just whoever
the-
knows.
It's kind of an implication that you bring your own bike.
So check in for that, just so, you guys check in for that at 7:30 AM. And then we depart 8 AM.
AM?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one's a morning.
There's
bike
different
ride.
ones. We have
Yeah, yeah,
mornings and
sometimes
nights.
I've seen them a lot at night, so. Cool.
If it's that early on a Saturday, do we think that would impact a Main Street oriented?
Well, it's on a Saturday and it's also the day of the farmer's market, so there's gonna be activity going on.
Right.
So you guys gotta think about where your rendezvous point is, because I think the grants for the farmer's market set
They
one of
moved
the
it?
parking lots aside for parking, and so,
Well, typically when that happens, we, the last time we did it at Main Street, we were right in the corner next to that new gym.
That's what we
I
got.
don't know what that name of the gym is.
So, just a note on
Right
that,
across.
now that you guys mentioned events, whenever there's any event, including the bike rides that depart from a Graham property, we have to ask for a hold harness. Andrea has been very clear with us that she doesn't want us doing things last minute, because then we're pushing her staff to go through last minute, pulling a hold harness. So we're trying to do it, we're stacking them where we're doing 3 months increments at a time. For example, we're asking for March, April, May events together. So I would ask you guys to consider that, because there's a lot of the town events that we ask for help from, and at this point, we'd be asking her 2 weeks before, hey, can you please pull together a whole hard list and send it to us so that we can also route it?
Yeah, and then you
And you're
need to
saying
sign it.
2 weeks prior to,
Because I would need approval from the committee to move
Oh, I
on
see what
getting,
you're
I'm
saying.
requesting the hold hard list. And then she has to go through all that and then send it to us, and then we have to route it to get it approved.
so how, okay, I see what you mean. I don't foresee there being an issue with the committee on choosing a location. I think we're very flexible when it comes to that, and if it's helping, right, another committee and, you know, and businesses. I don't know if that's a legal question, if we can request it, you know, ahead of time,
Just add it, just in case.
well, that would
I
be a
have to-
decision that they would have to do.
To be honest, I have to go back and check when we're due to send that. Again, because we do them in advance, we do them in chunks. So I have to see what's the last month that I sent her out. Like, if we have to go back, then it wouldn't make sense to go back and say, hey, now we're adding to it, because that's what she wants us to avoid, because we were doing it one at a time
I see.
for every single committee and every single event.
Have you submitted the work for that benefit you plans?
No, that definitely has not.
And the feeding tournament, this is something too that we require in the.
Yeah, no, that one, those have not. But I gather for all of them, with cultural affairs, it includes, for example, like youth activities, there's a lot of events on, you know, that we use their properties. So that's why it takes like gathering from all the committees to put it together, to then send it to her in one like cohesive list, so that then they don't go crazy, like trying to accommodate us.
Requested for you to do it?
Sorry?
Should I send you an email requesting?
No, I'm just saying I have to go back and check when's the last chunk I sent her. Like, I don't know right now, up until what's the last month. I don't remember off the top of my head.
but if this one is gonna
It's
be
still,
tight,
then I can include it in there.
Yeah.
but even if it's already been done for April,
I think it's.
and this is gonna be kind of like the one-off, send it to me and I'll send it to her and ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And see if she'll give us this one exception, and, you know, with the promise of it's gonna be good for their shops and everything else. So it's not just we're gonna use one of the properties, it's gonna be good for the tenants.
Of course.
So there's gonna be a lot of benefit there.
And on that same token, Matthew,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like, thinking about how some kind of card, if there's, you
Yeah.
know, paperwork or, you know, discount cards, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think for that, that's where I gotta do the Main Street Merchants group. I gotta talk to those people now and figure that out. If that's something they can do.
Well, even if you go to if you go to
Yeah.
those locations, I don't know if you have an email and say, hey, listen, there's gonna be an event. Right, the town this day and this time, if you wanna promote, one, you're more than welcome to show up,
Yeah.
right? That's one. And two, or if not, bring flyers and we'll put them on the table. So that way people can, you know, have discount. Or listen, there's breakfast place. I've done it 100 times. But we've done after that and we ate it, you know, on Main Street.
No,
Right,
yeah,
at
I-
the
I'm
French
just thinking about
bakery,
that.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and now the BB's just started a breakfast option too, so there's a bunch of stuff over there. No, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll pitch it to them, to the business owners that have been talking to me and see what we can do. Especially Carlos, I know he's kind of like the spearhead, the Chella's guy, he's like the spearhead of all those people there.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to him at the next meeting. Thank you for that, man.
Of course. So I'm gonna piggyback, on Felicia's promotion of the events and no, you're good. The promotion of the events. I know typically in these quarterly meetings, and unfortunately, my schedule has increased in responsibilities overall, so I haven't been able to make it in the last one or two that you guys have had. But I know that typically at some point, Brandon will bring some some kind of reporting with the advertising, the hits, all that good stuff number that at the end probably, including myself, did not understand, but it brought some kind of light because a lot of us have brought in the past the issue with the promoting of the event, how are they done, how are they promoting, is it automatically done, who does it, at the last minute, I know I've had conversations with Isle throughout, the time that I think she's been here, we did it, the day of, right? Do we schedule something like that, or the day prior? Again, I don't know social media, but I don't know what these things are called.
Both.
Right, they're called push, or I don't know what they're called. That all of a sudden, a message gets sent out. But of course, it needed to be, or it needs to be pretty much equal for other committees. I don't want my committee to be promoting more than another committee. And I know I've heard that in the past. Oh, that event, we saw constantly, messages and here and there. And again, this is what I hear. I have no clue because I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, I don't have any of this except the one email that I get from from Claricel, that newsletter I'm looking forward to every month, and that's how I keep, so please keep it up because that's the only way that I know exactly. Because I'm not going to go honestly into the calendar of the town and click on every day and see what's going on. So how are we doing with that? Because we have on the bike ride specifically, it's kind of gone down a little bit, and I think we also spread them out.
Right.
Because once you do a little bit of, too much of something, people are like,
Right, and I think that's one thing that sometimes we lose sight of, that events that maybe an event that we did 20 years ago may not have the same luster that today. People's expectations are different, the dynamics in our society are different. There's 1,001 reasons why.
the needs are different.
Sometimes, like 4th of July, Veterans Day, those are events that survive the test of time, but others don't. So those are things that we have to take into account. And so it's not always whether it gets promoted or not. It's just, you can promote the hell out of something,
Right.
and maybe it's just not something that's gonna draw a lot of participation. So I know that and I beg to differ with you on one thing, that every event is different and unique. Like, for instance, bingo, we don't have to promote that. That is, this, a lot of the same people, it's a repeat customer type thing, frequent flyers, they all go to, so it's, but yet there's other events that do require a little more promotion. And sometimes it's, you can promote them 3 months out, you can promote them the day before, and I think that they do an interesting job, playing with those dynamics. So I think that every event is a little different depending on who your target audience is. And I'm far from an expert, right? But they have kind of educated me a little bit on some of these things and emails and social media and everything. So you gotta take a little, all of that in, and there's so many different factors, right? So they take all that into account. But with regard, do we keep
Yeah, we track all the events.
metrics on how we
Right,
do
we
and?
Yes.
we can put a pin in a post, mark it as a YATF event or an NIC event.
We report on a quarterly basis to him on our social media, our quarterly performance report. But to answer Rudy's question, it's not cookie cutter, and you're right. A bike ride is limited to 30 to 40 riders. So once we sell out of that event, we can't continue to promote it because we're going to exhaust our police officers.
Right. We have a certain capacity limit, and that's it.
But for example, movies at the park where we can have 8,000 people watching a movie, it can go on, and up to the, an hour before, we may be promoting it. So it's not the same for every event and for every committee.
You've seen that the bike rides have had diminishing participation.
So
Right.
I don't know if you saw the vice mayor posted a post, about the bike ride for Mardi Gras, February. And it, to me, in the photo, I had 30, 40 people, which again is that the natural capacity of that event. I think something like the bike rides, when did we established the themes in October,
Yeah.
November?
Right. Last year.
Through April. I think the fat was trimmed on those events because there was also budget issues, not only attendance issues. But since we had time to create a thematic, look to this event, and we had so much time to create a Mardi Gras flyer. That's why when we have time and all the information, it makes promotion a lot easier. Like for example, this year or last fiscal year, we had the bike rodeo, which was a lot better than the previous fiscal year. And I know you would agree with that. So, and not that it's anybody's fault or committee or last year or the 2022 bike rodeo, we got information on it, 4 weeks ahead of time, which, again, there's no pointing the finger. It just doesn't help because we can tell you to come out to an event on what date, you know what I mean? Like there's no save the date when we don't have the date. So when we have information like the bike rides were, 6 months in advance. And that's why the April bike ride has already been promoted because we have the information and it helps, and we can put on as many newsletters as we want and the Laker can pick it up, and it comes out to the planning. I think it could be interesting. Maybe it's an in-committee report if you guys want of metrics. I don't know that it would be easily digestible. But
Did you have a
Well,
specific
Yeah,
request that you?
so to your point, we did that on purpose, right? We've been doing the bike rides already for some years. And we thought that would be because a lot of people would not show up to one and say, hey, I couldn't make it to this one. So what we did is we did that, on purpose. We draw that plan. So that way people know, well, I can't make it to the June, I'll make it to the July one, I'll make it to we don't expect everybody to show up every single bike ride. However, to Claricel's point, how can the town support us or where do you do that, right? Because I agree with you 100%. It's hard to put a finger on saying, yeah, this one we can promote it 200 times, so what do we do? Because I personally feel, because I do ask people, hey, do you have social media? People that are connected with the town's Instagram say, I didn't see it there, right? And again, I personally do not understand. I just hear about it, and of course, Felicia can chime in on that there's not enough, or maybe, the right targeted, advertising, or maybe they didn't see, or maybe you guys are doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think if I keep hearing that, and the turn-on is not there, right? And to her point as well, to the police, we've had over 200 riders with the same number of cops. So that has never changed, right? So is that something that we're stopping at 30 something, at 100? Because that was a good point that you brought. Is that something that we're doing, that we're stopping promotion at 30 something,
We
or?
go by what the major tells us on attendance. Limits.
So what does that mean? You cap off the invites?
If he tells us, I'm assigning three officers, these 3 officers can only handle 30 people or whatever that number is, that's what we're gonna go with.
Got it. So that was just a number you threw out there. It's not necessarily a number that it's a fact.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, okay, use an example. That's what I'm saying. When you said 30 something, I'm like, what is
It
that?
could be 30, it could be 50, it could be
we've always
60.
kept the cap at 200.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. Okay, good. Okay, so that's on registration, but I think registration, sorry, but I think registration is something completely different. I'm talking about promoting the event itself, right? Through whatever outlets, the town has. That's what I'm looking for you guys is, because I've had to, at the last minute, say, hey, can we send a message, today at 7? I don't know if this is something you can schedule, right? Not necessarily somebody waking up at 7 o'clock and sending the message, but say if the bike ride, you're registered at 7:30, maybe something the night
The
before.
morning of.
Right, or even the night before as well, right? I've done this, we have an event, we'd send it the night before, hey, remember, some people you give them 3 months and don't forget, but then you tell them at the last minute, they're like, oh my God, yes, I remember now, it's in my calendar. Again, I don't have a magic wand, I don't know, I'm just saying, anything and everything that could be done, because this is not the first time. This is a long time that we've had from here to there, oh, we could have, oh, we didn't know about it. That's all I'm asking, if it's something that can be promoted to that sense.
I believe if I could, because we do this with our volunteers for, let's say, Halloween or spring fling, where we email them nights before with changes. I believe with Eventbrite, you can mass email or text everyone.
It automatically does that.
It does it, right, and I get just, but I'm not talking about
Reminder
events.
emails,
Yeah.
people who have registered.
That who care or rent.
24 hours before the event, it automatically.
And I
we
believe
have
that
it
you can do
set.
text messages too.
You can pull an email list and do a specific,
Right, but
Target.
that's people that already have registered. I'm talking about the ones that have not registered. That, just say, hey, remind. So my question in this case, how do you guys decide? And I'm gonna put the bike ride in this case, how do you decide the promotion pathway from the moment in October that we give you a date, right? To the date of the event? How is that, structured?
Jonathan, I think you should send everybody in this group that presentation that you did for council a year ago, maybe, in May?
Yeah.
There's Jonathan has a whole metrics on if this, then this is what we do.
But the council had similar questions.
Yeah.
And maybe I think that they were bringing questions that members of committees were posing to them. And so we made a presentation to them about the whole strategy and the flow chart, exactly the decision tree that's used on different promotional strategies and so forth. And it makes sense.
I got a
And
better one
to
for,
add to that, for those people that do follow us and don't see what we post, it's because they're not interacting and they're not engaging with the town. So Facebook and Instagram are all, they go through analytics, right? That's how they figure what to put in front of you. If you are not engaging with the town's page,
so I would never see those postings,
you will never see it because.
even though I may be registered, I may be like
You may
linked to your
be.
Instagram.
Yes.
Is
yes.
there a way to over bypass that? And when you send a message, target everybody regardless if you're active or not?
No.
Well,
There-
it's sponsored.
There are
times when
those algorithms are set up by those platforms, Facebook or Instagram. They all have different strategies. They have different things.
there are ways that you can put sponsor dollars, those will, bypass that algorithm, will place. It's the
Oh.
placement of the.
It's a pay to win sort of thing.
It is a pay to win sort of
Yeah.
thing, but
Okay.
it is kind of a manual effort.
There you go.
Let me go to
One of the experts here.
Let me go to the town's website or the social Instagram, for example. Oh, there's a story. If you click on it, it's a feedback loop. So, for example, the bike rides, when we have something 7 months ahead of time, that's you can imagine we're not going to give you an April save the date for October because the retention just isn't there. And it's not their fault, it's just human nature. So if we put on the calendar on the December bike ride, for example, we've listed, this December holiday lights. Come out, decorate your bikes. February, Mardi Gras, come out, let the good times roll. In April, Autism Awareness Month, light it up blue or whatever, the phrases, maybe they're all on the calendar, 7, for example, 7 months in advance, but you're going to find that if you're on our calendar. Now, once we get closer, you're talking 2 months, a month ahead of time, we can say, okay, now that we have details, here's the route, here is the date and time of departure. Go sign up. I don't know that there are many other examples like 4th of July, it kind of naturally happens where, you could say a month ahead of time, it's, you can post an old photo or a throwback from the 80s of the 4th of July and say, this rocking 4th of July event happened X amount of years ago. Get ready for this upcoming event on Wednesday or whatever 4th of July falls on this year. So for at least I hope I could insert the bike rides, but it really is sort of it's something that just plays itself out constantly over time where, we have information, we can put it out, but we're not, spamming people's feed because the algorithm will say that spam, it's not interacted with much, which is why people won't see it on our Instagram. That's in the strategy, which I won't, I'll try not to regurgitate that much, but Instagram, people will not see it on their Instagram feed. Like, unless it is a recap of an old event, we're not putting it on Instagram because static flyers on Instagram, they're not interacted with. You're talking posts, a post about a business.
So where do you put these? If it's not Instagram.
Well, it could be on the stories because that's more
But
oriented.
people don't see that unless they go to the story, is that what it is?
Stories only last for 24 hours.
They last 24 hours, but
You put it in highlights and just.
you could put it in highlights. It's basically a virtual pin board where you can put. But that's just for Instagram, and then you have Facebook.
Right, we have other.
You have the event system, and then you have.
Sorry, you asked yet?
No. As a matter of fact, I want more. So I'm gonna recommend if it's not, I'm gonna add you, if you're available, I'm gonna add you to the agenda. I think that presentation that you share with the council, I think it will be great if you bring it to the meeting and maybe even go to other committees as well, if that's possible, to share that information so that we can be informed. So we can be informed exactly what that process, takes place, and that we don't have to be all lost.
Right, right.
About how because if you're telling me, look, there is a process, okay, then now we understand it. Maybe we can chime in and say, okay, can we change a little bit of the process? Can we add a little bit of this or that? If that's an option. So,
I have a quick question, to myself. I don't have Facebook, I got out of it, but I have Instagram. Are they different in the what you put in them? Because, like I said, I go to Instagram and then I go to, because I follow the town, and then I go to events or look for the highlights. But sometimes, I need to know if it was.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they are different.
I'm like him, all I have is WhatsApp and Instagram.
no, that's it. You got more than I do. I don't have Instagram. Okay,
No,
I have WhatsApp and I have to send newsletters. That's the only thing I have.
They are different. They have different APIs and different, ways that they prioritize things. Facebook and Instagram are in the Meta family, so you may see, well, you wouldn't because you don't have Facebook. If I post a story about, I think today, for example, we posted about spring fling. It will automatically post that to Facebook, and so there are certain overlaps, but you can see a Facebook event on Instagram. There's no way to merge those two. It's really just, it's that coordinated, okay, this is on Facebook, okay, I can push the Facebook event, but post a story on Instagram and post a tweet on Twitter. And it's really a juggling act, but
Keep it simple.
no, and
For
that is.
folks like us,
Just make sure to engage with the town's Instagram feed and Facebook if you have it.
And you may have to it is you may have to hammer your own algorithm where you're actively going to a certain Instagram page or a certain Facebook page and electing to watch the story because that's telling it, this is what this person wants to see. We'll put it back in front of it because you may follow 9,000 people. Your instant, when you log on to Instagram, it's going to be 6 stories at the top of your feed. And so you can imagine it's only going to show you who you care about.
Yeah, I know about all of the ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Hey, Dottie had a question, I think, from Matthew.
Yes, Matthew,
Matthew's here.
I'm sorry, no, it was the gentleman in the back.
Rudy.
Oh,
Rudy.
Oh,
Oh, no.
the blue shirt?
Bill.
Bill.
Oh my God, nobody knows my name.
Me?
Yes, I have a question for you. These sign ups that you're trying to get from individuals or from companies, or like, if you say you come to one of my bingos and I give you a table, or you can sit there and you can talk to the seniors and they can sign up. Because they'll sign up, I guarantee you, if that's what you're looking for.
Oh, okay. No, not really. We're trying to just get information out, that's for sure. So I can show up to the bingo,
And just,
set up an information table. Yeah, that'd be great.
well, our next one is the 22nd, I think.
Yeah, the Elderly Affairs is the committee that has the most events throughout the year, so they have
And a lot of.
all the time, they have events recurring.
Yeah, I know.
So you're getting all my advertising. You and the ribbon cutting guy. The ribbon cutting guy.
Rudy, did you have anything else?
I'll go through it, that one consumer that, I'll just tell you a few of the things. I don't want to take much time. We're working on something that's called the Aid Impaired Here Life Ring. And basically, that's an initiative that we're hoping to get these light rings at the beach areas first. So, there was some incident with Aiden Perry. We're not going to hold many details, but we're gonna have them on our next meeting. And hopefully we can get that, where at least at the beach, the public beaches, these, live rinks can be there. So in case of an emergency or some kind of, they can be, tossed, of course, and help somebody. Because they are public beaches. There
At
is
the
no.
town, at the lakes, the town.
Yes.
Beach parks?
Yes, yes. So we're not there yet. It has been done in other municipalities, in conjunction with the fire department. So she's gonna be here at the next meeting, so she can talk about a little bit of what, how that, how they went about it, how they approved it, they went through the whole process. So
Okay.
it was already done in another municipality, so we should, hopefully looking to get that. We're also working on pedestrian safety awareness, zoning codes, covenants and clarification, proposals that we're gonna be doing. Golf cart parade, I know that we wanted to do that, and it was a last minute thing. It actually went pretty well. We couldn't do it through the NIC, but then the council was able to, to get it through, so we're gonna be working with more time on that as well.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
That thing, yeah. That's what you remember.
It's so much fun.
Okay, and everybody had all the inflatables through all the different,
It was pretty fun.
streets, so we're working on ways to beautify it under the Palmetto and 154th. We've been trying to do that for some time. Hopefully we can get something there soon. Also lake awareness and how to protect our waterways. The beautification of the remaining electrical transformer boxes. I think that was a grand slam when we hit those. They look pretty well. I think now the more you go to different communities, now I'm looking for them and they actually,
The prettiest one.
they're all wrapped up in a lot of these communities. And that's pretty much it.
But I got something I want to pitch to your committee, Rudy. One of the things that I wanted to try and do when I first got here was to try and enhance the holiday lighting. And Willie Sanchez, when he was here, he did a lot. The other people who have taken over since then, Christina Lavoisier did quite a bit. JP Yanis is a guy who's new on our staff. And he picked up this last year. But the biggest challenge that we have, me in a perfect world, if I had my, magic wand and unlimited funds, I would light up with Christmas lights all of 154, which traverses the entire town from I-75 to 57th Avenue. The biggest challenge that we have with that is the electricity. So there are pods, median pods that have sprinkler pumps. Those that already have electricity, those are the ones that we primarily target because they already have electricity. So the biggest challenge is financial. And obviously, the council, whenever September comes around, you guys know it as committees, you guys have requests and they always have to pick winners and losers. And unfortunately, the dollars are always tight. And they try and do the most with the amount of money that they have available. So I wanted to kind of talk to you and see if there was something that you may want to do. And I don't know what that is, right? And maybe you and I can have a conversation later offline, but something that can help us, unrelated to the town's budget, but through the committee. I don't know if it's a golf tournament, Christmas in July, I don't know what that.
Of course, we can.
Some kind of a thing, and your committee's good at coming up with creative ways of doing things. So it's just something that you may want to consider, and we can have a conversation later. And see if we can come up with ways of doing the electricity, because then the Christmas lights, obviously there's an expense, but it pales in comparison to the cost of the running electricity to all these pods up and down. And what I've challenged JP, our new guy, is start with Palmetto and start working your way out from there, east and west.
Right.
So you see there's a lot of light.
There's a lot. I must say you guys are coming a long way.
Yeah, so,
It looks
but
awesome.
it's all in that area, east and west
Right.
of the Palmetto, and I just want to continue taking it further east and further west. So we'll have a conversation offline,
Definitely, I like
because
the
I
idea.
think all of us, it would be a proud thing for all of us as Miami Lakers to be able to light up all of 154.
I agree.
Yeah, you remember last Christmas, Main Street was beautiful, and they had the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think they have all the connections. Like you said, if you can find the junction box and they connect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of good feedback, when we highlighted the Miami Lakes Drive holiday lights. A lot of people saying keep it year round, we wish there were more. I won't step on why ITF's told, but I know they wanna do some sort of Christmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that when I go.
And
I think that's.
maybe we can bring in
Awesome.
economic development with the connection to the business community, sponsorships, you know. Maybe we can do something like that. And, you know, if we plan it early enough, I think there's something.
Oh, they gotta say, bring them in to cut another ribbon.
No, no.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Bring them in, to
I'm
bring
not
in,
lying
for it.
I'm more-
to bring in
I'm
companies
more-
and sponsors and Miami Lakes businesses. So I think that, because I'd like to,
No, it's good.
someday before I retire, I'd like to light up all of 154.
If not, you can always, you know, assist with your retirement, you know, check.
No, no.
Help us with our funds.
I'll
Come with a fund.
I'll be
Come
a
with
sponsor, I'll
Yeah.
sponsor.
One palm tree.
Whatever.
Sweet.
Thank you, it's a great idea, I wrote it down. I'll add it.
No, no, it's for all of us. I think that it's something we can all be proud of as Miami Lakes.
I'll add it to our agenda for the next meeting, it definitely will start, you know, we'll get that ball rolling.
Okay.
Thank you for the idea.
Anything else?
No, thank you for your time.
Ruth?
Through the chair or chairs or multi-chairs, I don't know how to say it.
All right. What's up?
Just to add to Rudy and Vivian, if Bike 305, on those events, they usually come out and they'll provide helmets. But if they don't come out, then I'll be there and I'll bring tons of helmets and I'll give them out before the event. Like usually I do about 20 minutes before the event. And it's as many helmets as I can bring, which I have boxes of. And they're all free and.
Thank you.
And just real quick, I guess, before we leave the bike thing real quick, one thing that's helped us in our committee too, and I guess when Jonathan talks to you about social media and the campaigning and how that works, one thing that's helpful is when you're setting up these events, and if you guys have the budget for it, to set apart a little bit for specifically social media campaigning. Because it helps a lot to give Jonathan, you're not setting him up for failure, because when he's just kind of doing it on his own, it's what they're saying, it's if nobody's interacting or clicking on Miami Lakes consistently, they're just not gonna see it, so you're just gonna get the same people.
Listen, new.
So that's a way to get
exciting-
beyond it. Yeah.
New and exciting is kind of what we want, and,
Oh.
you know, if we put dollars towards something new, it definitely helps it when we have, the boot camp, and we put money
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah, it's all right.
How much money are we talking about, if you don't mind asking?
It could be,
Like $100, right? $100 is what I'm
So
thinking.
that would be a.
Just to help it a little
it
bit.
depends on how far you want the
Zero
reach
to
to
money is
go,
helpful.
you know, how many times, you know, how many people are shown within that reach, like it's.
Even a little goes
Yeah.
a long.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you're doing it just an organic raw post, it's not gonna go really anywhere beyond people that are interacting with the town Instagram on the regular. Or the Facebook or the LinkedIn, whatever. But when you put, the second you put a little bit of money behind it, that's when they start to throw it out and push it around. So that's the best way to, if you wanna do that, then, you know, get your events out there, is you gotta help, you know, give them the means to do so. So
It's
that's
$50
kinda-
per event and okay, not gonna, I mean, I'm saying.
It might help a little bit. It's definitely help a little bit. You can try and see what
Right, because if
happens.
we have 4 bike rides, we do $50 per event, it's $200. I mean,
Yeah.
they're taking away, so I'm.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. A big thing with social media is A/B testing, right? Where you'll throw out, you know, one thing with $50, see how that works. You know, like, oh, what are the results? Oh, this sucks. Okay, we'll bump it up to 100 and we'll target these people instead. You know what I mean? And then you go from there. You know, you just gotta give them the means for it, you know, then you can go forth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy, public
Yeah.
safety.
I don't have much to report, mainly because unfortunately we had to cancel our February 27th meeting. And most of what we were talking about doing and planning and whatever, we hadn't voted on. So because we haven't voted on it, I am not 100% sure what I can bring up tonight. Hasn't been voted on. There's certain things that I'm hearing tonight, and I'm gonna, you know, I don't through my mouth to change feet. So I'm gonna say this, I'm hearing a few committees, you know, there's safety this and safety that. I'm thinking, wow, what the heck am I over here? So, you know, remember us. We don't get a lot of money. We're only 7 people. There's not that much that we can do. And I don't mean from sounding whiny. I'm only explaining to you why I don't have a wonderful plan here. One of the things that we did talk about doing, and we're checking into it, is that we're going to possibly change how we do our public safety award ceremony. We get a whole big $4,800 a year from the town, and the price to have that breakfast has just gotten ridiculous, what we have to pay for breakfast. So we're talking about possibly changing how we do it and another plan, but again, we haven't voted on. But we're all, we're gonna check into it and come back to a meeting and decide. So we haven't done that yet. The other thing is, the plaques and whatever that we buy to give the awards. We're still gonna try to do that. I know for a fact we've got to do that at least. And, there is something that I can bring up to a certain degree. I forget the month. April, I think it is. Police Appreciation Day, something like that, May.
Well, the day is in January. But
The month is May.
The month is,
Right.
okay. So I have been speaking with one of the, a detective from the Public Safety Committee. And, we're talking about, having these blue lights, they're battery operated, but they look like those candles.
Tea lights.
What are they called?
Tea lights.
Tea
Like
lights.
a little,
Yeah, well, this one, it's a little bit bigger. The tea lights are like this, and this one's about this high. And, either going to the various businesses or whatever. Again, we have to finalize that for the, light up, you know, and maybe we can, again, thoughts, the lights that we have outside of town hall, the other way, out there by the front door. You know, maybe we could do those in blue.
Wish I could filter.
yeah, I think we talked about, April's
Okay, great
autism
idea
awareness
to-
month.
To make all, because you've done it for,
When we did,
for different events, like,
we did what?
breast awareness.
Oh,
yeah.
For the lights?
Yeah, outside you can use blue.
So, April's autism awareness month, which is also blue. And then it would just kind of carry into May. I don't know if there's.
But again, you know, that meeting was an important meeting, and yet we had to cancel it, and we discuss it this month, but it's always at the end of the month, so I'm working on it. And that's mostly, I think,
I have a question.
sure,
We voted in the Veterans Committee, we've been doing the 9/11 event, the September 11th event. And that has always been like very first responder focused. In fact, entire police department almost, an entire fire department shows up, and we basically honored all the first responders that went into the World Trade Center. And we decided to say, you know, I think we'll be better if we had this event. The committee decided to offer the event to Public Safety Committee to do instead of the Veterans Committee. Because we already have, you know, for the war in Iraq and war in Afghanistan, we have Veterans Day, we have Memorial Day, you know. But 9/11 is very much a first responder, police and fire. But anyway, we approved that, and we haven't heard anything from you guys about it, whether or not you want to take it on or not.
Well,
you left out one word, Bill.
Money?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll gladly transfer you our line item budget number
Right,
and
there,
all the money we get for that. You know what it is.
they
We
haven't,
get
Zero.
But Bill, that's a kind of an event that it would really be best
Makes
if the two of you did it together. Not transfer it, but bring them in and then do it jointly.
It's, like I said, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
$4,800. That's what it was costing us just to do. a
Well, I'm
breakfast,
telling you
but
what
to
we
hand out
get.
the
It's always
plaques.
done with just sponsors, right?
So we,
Yeah.
yeah. I
The
don't
council
like that.
counting up.
Yeah.
So I brought it up to the Veterans Committee because
Thank
in
you.
my view, it doesn't, the 9/11 event is not complicated. It was put on the 10th this year because we needed volunteers, and you know, my opinion, just as staff, was that you lose a lot when it's not on that date. When it's not on 9/11, you lose a lot of historical context, emotional context, and marketing, because we can't, you know, you cannot say something, you know, honor 9/11 on 9/10. It's just not good. So if it's, and then it became, if it's because we need sponsors to put up the flags. I don't know if you guys know the flags, oh, the photo taken down. We put 3,000 flags in Veterans Park, which was a beautiful display, but if we can't have it because it's too complicated logistically, we could have it at town hall. And it's really not complicated, it is free because, you know, the budget is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Nancy, our budget's zero for that.
And,
I mean, I'll gladly give you the line number.
and
Oh, is that where you want? That line, is that the funds that you want, for those funds?
zero, so, well,
I give you 100% funds for that,
it's really not complicated, and other
plus
municipalities.
$1.
and-
We have to vote on it. Back to that again, it's like
Motion?
you can't get there from here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just take it back to your committee and vote on it and
Right,
see
that's
what they
what,
say.
that's what they.
By that time, when it comes around, I forget.
Yeah.
Come on.
Write it down.
that-
Well, I.
Write it down. And then your liaison will remind you.
All right, anything else, Nancy?
Bill, thank you.
Okay.
Nancy, anything else?
Mr. Prettyman, please, everyone, excuse me, I have a meeting at 7:30. So
Meeting?
I do, I gotta go from a meeting to another
That
meeting.
first pitch?
No, actually, no, this was a meeting, no, I remember baseball like this, so it was good to see you guys, I'm sorry I have to depart, I know there's still some of you, but these days I have to kind of break myself into 3 different pieces sometimes on the same night, so I apologize for having to
No
exit.
worries.
I don't know earlier.
Be safe, but no.
That's it.
Thank you, it was good to see you guys.
Jose Fernandez, Sheriff's Association. I know you guys have not been able to meet in several months and you guys are waiting for
Yeah, so
some action by the council one way or the other, so.
I'll be brief. So the last time we met was in the month of October. We submitted the request for the council to fund an feasibility study for the town. It was approved. However, the monies were allocated for police overtime money, rightfully so. And we're just waiting for the carry forward.
Yeah, they're gonna consider it again. It may get funded, it may not get funded, but at least it'll be a decision point, and then you guys can figure out what to do from that point forward.
We're supposed to meet last week and we put it off to April
Okay,
for the carry forward monies to be
Right.
available.
right. So the carry forward was gonna be done March and April. Now it's gonna be done April and March. It's an ordinance, so it has to be read twice.
Okay.
So, it's gonna be done because the closeout from last year and the books from last year, the numbers from last year, the auditors are not gonna be done until the end of March. They're gonna report in, I'm sorry, at the end of February. Now they're gonna report in March. So now the numbers that if we would have presented the carry forward March and April, it would have been with estimates. Now it'll be with final audited numbers. So that's why we're gonna do April and May. So that's just something for you to take into account.
Okay.
So you should be okay to meet in April, because you guys normally meet near the end of the month, right?
The 4th Thursday.
Right, so the first time it's read in the beginning of April, that should give you an indication of whether it's gonna be considered or not by the council.
If not, we'll consider moving it to May.
Yeah, but that's up to you guys, okay? All right, and sports hall of fame not here, special needs, Vivian.
All right, so we started out the year with a workshop in January about our special needs safety program with Officer Amador, Councilwoman Carano, and Attorney Lorenzo Covilla, where they talked to parents and answer questions about the program, and we got a couple of registrants from that event. In February, we had our annual Valentine's Day thing with a twist, and this year we rented out the whole place. And we made it more inclusive by inviting some typical children as well, so they got to share the experience with special needs participants. Last week we had our open house for a JoJo program. And it's a contactless martial arts program, JoJo. That's flyer. If you guys pass it around so you can see. So we're really looking forward to starting that program this month. I believe we have 8 people who registered. And we're capping it at 10. So we're really looking forward to that. Our dance class continues every Saturday at Mary Collins. On April 13, we're having our resource fair for Autism Awareness Month. We're partnering with, Arts for Autism. They provide the dance classes. And we're gonna be collaborating with the Neighborhood Improvement Committee on the bike ride. We're gonna get these, wristbands that say autism awareness. And, these little pins as well to hand out to everybody when I'm wearing. So looking forward to that. Let's see what else. In sometime in the summer, we want to do a sensory friendly movie. Probably in June.
Indoor?
Yeah, at the movie theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, oh, also, this year will be the last mayor's gala with Mayor Sid. So, we're curious to see what's gonna happen after that, because that's where we get all our funds.
I think it's,
So,
I think whichever way the elections go, I think it's become, yeah,
It's stable.
it's become the new normal. So,
Yeah, I would say go
Plus,
that way.
it's tons of fun.
it's,
It really is, I know.
yeah,
Do you have the date for that already?
It's,
we do.
It is
September
September, yeah.
6:30.
The next Saturday.
It's the last.
You know what? September 30th.
September 28th.
Last.
Yeah.
Oh, I also wanted to mention that our dance class, they participated and performed at the Festival of Light on Main Street. They did an amazing job. It was our first year participating in that. They did really great.
Anything else?
Could you, I know you mentioned this here, but could you send us like a list, like I put together this calendar to share with everybody? So we know what you're doing, because sometimes we're not aware of what's going on. Sure. I don't know, I did it on Instagram and Facebook, please. Unless you know, other committees are doing.
Veterans.
Okay, Veterans Committee, we had a really good fundraiser with the last 5K run. So we have a scholarship program for, family members of the veteran. They have to be a part of the household. The veteran must be a Miami Lakes resident. The individual must be, I think junior or senior, I think in high school, or an adult child. And of course, if they're in college, they may not be residing with the veteran in Miami Lakes, they could be out of state, whatever. But they must be a member of the household. And it's for trade school, for college, or professional certification of any type, to pay the cost of. And we have several $1,000s to give out. And it's gonna be basically whatever amount we have, which is all the 100% amount that the net amount we raised will be divided up into the scholarships. So it could be quite a bit. So if you know anybody who fits that criteria, the Miami Lakes resident, a veteran, whose child is either junior or senior in high school, the child must be, even if it's an adult child, must be a member of that household, and is wanted to attend trade school, a professional certification school, or university. Please have them apply. Next thing is we have funding that we're going to be giving the town to assist in the development of Veterans Memorial and Veterans Park. We're probably going to get one of those big ridiculous checks presented to the town. You know, with the Veterans Committee's logo on it. We're gonna be giving the town $10,000. I already met with Jeremy, and Jeremy, suggested a great place for a little memorial wall. It's a great location. It won't interfere with the use of the park at all. Veterans Park, most of the green space will be still green. In fact, where we're putting it is where it's a little shaded area that there's nothing there. It's not right in the entrance, you see it right away. And to place the flag stand in front of the Mary Collins Center, kind of remove that center flag and put it to the side. My only concern with that location is there's trees and stuff, and as you know, you can't have any branches and trees fouling up the flag. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of disrespectful to the flags. Because we're gonna,
And in this town, we cannot cut trees,
Exactly.
well, then we need to find another location.
Yeah.
for that. You know what I'm saying?
because that would be, I don't want the wall to have any kind of a negative, image or connotation or get,
Oh, no, the wall's not gonna affect the tree.
or the
I'm talking
flags,
about
I
the
mean.
flag stand.
yeah.
Talking about the flag stand, the first place that was, recommended, you know, the fact, you know, there are trees there and. you
Yeah,
know,
work
you
with,
can't-
work with Jeremy to,
Yeah.
to find.
We'll find the right place.
Okay, perfect.
No worries.
Mr. Peterman, maybe you remember years ago, I presented to you some samples of beautiful monuments that we could place in the park in a nice area where they could gather, you know, the family or whatever. I think it would be a nice collaboration with our committee. I think I have ideas of.
But talk to them, because I think that they already have,
Yeah,
they
we
already
already
have a
presented-
rendering of
we
what
already
they
have a
want it
plan
to
and
look
a
like,
rendering.
so.
I have beautiful samples from around the world, and it complement the park.
Right.
Like you said, we don't want to cut trees, we don't want it to be like something nice, not an eyesore, I think it's gonna be an eyesore, but something that is art, so
Sure.
I think it would be good.
Talk to the committee, because I think they're pretty already far down
We
that
already
path.
presented renderings and stuff that would not interfere with the use of the park and
Right.
very respectful, not overdone. And is a very solemn, yet sublime kind of, you know, presentation. And the flag stand is basically so we can have events on that park, you know, to commemorate. So the main thing is we're gonna be giving the town some money for that. We also, for Arbor Day, we're gonna be doing a vegetable victory garden, and setting that up, and Jeremy's already told me where we put it. And, the vegetable garden that we're gonna grow, it's basically based upon, if you remember World War II, or if you read history. Back during World War II, you couldn't get fresh vegetables, you couldn't really get fresh fruit because it was all being sent to overseas. And so folks started victory gardens. And so we kind of want to, you know, rekindle that sense of one, having a town vegetable garden, and two, a community garden, and three, tying in with that history of, you know, self-reliance and stuff. So the idea would be to, and when we harvest, assuming anything grows, when we harvest, we'll be able to, you know, provide fresh produce to veterans, you know, and stuff like that, or to other folks who, you know, committees that need it. I don't know how good the harvest is gonna be.
Where do you want to do that?
It's gonna be in the Veterans, Veterans Park.
You need a sunny spot.
Yes, yeah, we looked at it. We looked at a sunny spot, and it's, basically gonna be like, 4x8 raised plant bed. So we already got everything figured out.
Okay.
That's it.
Brian, youth activities.
Yeah, so a lot going on with our committee. From the last time we all met, we had our Halloween event. It went amazing. More people than we could ever imagine showed up, more than last year and the year before. It just keeps growing. Now we're trying to figure out, we're already in the planning stages of it this early in the year. But the only thing we're trying to figure out is monies for this event. It is one of the biggest events in the town now. And it is growing and things are getting more expensive. One thing that my committee specifically is struggling with is sponsorships. Since we have a lot of students in our committee, a lot of these businesses, when they go to ask, hey, would you like to sponsor? They basically shut their doors because of kids. I have exhausted my sponsors because I could only go to so many sponsors. So it's kind of difficult, and a lot of our sponsors kind of sponsor other events in the town. So that's one of our things. It is what it is, but we are working on that and we're trying to see and bring in more people and things like that. We also just finished off our Movies at the Park series. Speaking of what Jonathan was bringing up earlier, the holiday type of event thing. We're thinking of and we still have to kind of vote on it. We're working on it and talking about the details, is getting rid of Movies at the Park as a whole kind of thing. It is old. Our last two movies had less than 100 people. Way less than 100 people at each movie. At the end of the day, people have Netflix, Hulu,
Yeah.
HBO Max, all these
Yeah,
things.
that
at
may be
home.
one of those kind of events that have,
So the idea that we came up with, and we've spoken to a vendor, we have a vendor that brings all our food trucks in. I think it's Family Food Trucks. They're a great company. They don't just do food trucks, they do other things. And we are in the works with them and trying to plan a kind of festival, holiday festival.
Actually, we had.
Like a farmer's market with lighting, and most of it's being funded by that. It's an in-kind sponsorship to the committee. There's not enough details just yet. It would be in Veterans Park and bringing in all the committees if you guys would like to join in on it. And just something like that when it comes to doing a holiday type festival instead of Movies at the Park. We'll be playing a movie in the background, just as something as like a placeholder, things like that, but almost like a big giant farmer's market. In the past, I've always tried to.
don't call it a farmer's market.
Or not a far, or a
Call it something else.
Fair.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
holiday festival.
Yeah,
Food truck fiesta.
beautiful, beautiful.
And it would bring in different vendors from the town, businesses can get involved. My
A
whole.
one-time event, right?
It would be, we could do multiple nights if we.
No, one time is good.
Yeah, one time event.
Just, what I don't want to do appear as if we were competing with the other farmers
Of
market.
course, no,
Right.
it's nothing to
Right.
compete, yeah, it's just like a
That's why I say
More
don't call it a farmer's
family-friendly,
market, single
a
night.
family-based event where everyone can come together, have fun. Bounce houses
Got
if
it.
they wanted to, different things like that, just to open the event up
Nice.
to everyone.
How do you attract the youth to that kind of, just curiosity?
So when it comes to our committee attracting youth, we don't really attract youth, we attract the families.
Yeah,
So
okay.
bring the kids to the events.
Several months ago, we had one of the parks, I think it was in Yanis. We came and with an idea. Of course, we don't have the budget to do it, so I think your idea would be perfect. Talk to him, because he wanted to do a Valentine's Day kind of thing. But I think we said if we do it more like a family night out, which people are hungry for it, there's
So
a
that's
lot
what
of
the
people.
idea is.
So if you call it family night out and you have all these things going on, it's gonna be very successful. Talk to him because he has ideas. And he even gave us like a little layout of the park, where to put things and work with him.
Yeah, so basically this event would based like a holiday festival. My idea, and Amador can kind of piggyback on this. In the past, I've tried to get the committee and the town to decorate Veterans Park. Do something with the park. It's a place where a lot of people go to. We have a lot of events there. Then it comes into money and decorating and things like that. So that's something that we have to look at. But I know this vendor has people that can possibly bring people to decorate as an in-kind sponsorship just for that night. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, a Christmas tree, a big Christmas tree if you wanted to in the middle of the park, or inflatables, things like that.
Cool.
You wanna just do it for Christmas or?
No,
I mean, it has to be
there's a
good
trial.
weather, so.
Yeah, it would be, and it wouldn't interfere with the lighting on Main Street, things like that. We've already started planning this out.
It's
So
gonna be at night.
it is a nighttime, it's a early night time to night, starting around like 5 before the sun.
No, I think it's a
Almost
good
like,
idea.
I think we kind of thought, it's like a food and wine festival without the wine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, because the problem with.
Don't leave the wine out though.
Came down to- I know, what's it called?
BYOW.
Your bracelets.
Yeah, I mean, you just gonna leave, if you leave the wine out, you just got like young families. Kids.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
You want the guys who spend money, which is my age demographic.
Beer fest. The thing is, the 3 movies were kind of phasing out.
Yeah.
And the thing was, okay, let's do 1 movie, but then that 1 movie, let's incorporate everything else into the movie.
Yeah.
Which would be what
Yeah,
Brian was
because
saying.
the movies we've done in the past, the holiday movies are usually the more attended movies that we do. This past year, we were supposed to play one movie, but they ended up bringing it. We were supposed to play Elf and we advertise for help and they brought the Grinch.
I think,
big
I
draw.
would expect the movie company to have multiple different movies with them, but they brought one DVD and it was
Yeah,
the
but
Grinch.
the license.
funny.
We tried to.
Well, we got the license,
They changed the movie on us.
but it was a whole mess. But anyway, that's what our committee's been seeing when it comes to movies at the park. It's kind of gone down since people have streaming services at home. I've been trying to tell the committee, hey, this is old, we gotta phase this out. and
Yeah.
go to the next thing.
No, but the idea that you have, I think it sounds promising.
and the Frozen one was on a long weekend.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
the-
just, you know,
Again,
but
check the.
regardless of that, even if it was, I think the new events is super exciting, because you can have movies, you can have a s'more station and a train.
Yeah,
and,
different
like,
things. Oh, that was part of it,
Right.
like train, going around the park, things like that, like an actual, like those little trains that you
Yeah.
get from the party going
On
on
the
the trail, things like that, just different activities.
I
And
can see how
most
that
of it-
wine in that train
Yeah.
makes it hilarious.
most of it is funded or in-kind sponsorships.
Good, well,
And maybe we can have businesses sponsor and things like that and just
Here,
keep giving to you.
this is very important for you.
I know, we have students on the committee, so
Oh, okay.
I know.
what else?
So we also have two other
I've got my
things coming
copies
up.
in the office.
I believe at our next meeting, we've been working on a Town of Miami Lakes Youth Advocacy Award for a student, a high school student. I believe we're voting on it at our next meeting and then presenting it at the next council meeting or something. I don't know the full details of it. Or I think it's with education advisor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't you do it with the
I think we are
Board of
doing it.
Excellence? That would
Is
make
that come with
sense.
a, like, little grant, financial grant, or
I
just
don't-
a recognition?
I think it's more of a recognition with a plaque. We don't have funds for. If we had sponsorships, sure, we could do a sponsorship, if someone wants to sponsor something. Other than that, we have that next month. The end of this month, we have our spring fling event. It is big.
Yeah.
As of every year, we've doubled the ponies, we've doubled everything, doubled the eggs, we've doubled the petting zoos, different things like that.
No helicopters.
No helicopters out there, I'm trying. We've been trying, right now, the town,
No, I got.
the council has expressed that they wanted it,
Too crazy.
but the police department's saying
No,
so.
too dangerous.
no. A few things when it comes to this event. is-
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
Nothing in the air, please.
No, like I said, it is a big event. We have a lot of volunteers coming, a lot of people already showing interest. One thing I did want to bring up and ask you guys, there's a few questions that I have for the town was. Cause we had our committee voted on 100 volunteers for this event. Somehow on the Eventbrite, it went to 75. Volunteers. This is the
Oh.
weekend that kids are on spring break.
Who's gonna count?
So we kind of go over the amount of volunteers just so we can make that margin work when it comes to our volunteers. Cause we've asked for 40 in the past and had 3 show up. So I don't know, when we vote on stuff, if it's changed, can our committee know what's going on? Because that came back to us and we're like 75 volunteers, we asked for 100 that you.
What information did we receive?
So,
'Cause we voted on.
it was 75, and then at the day after the meeting, Ernie let me
Yeah, cause
know.
I made a
Ernie let me
comment.
know, and it's been 100 since, so.
Okay,
Whenever Ernie tells us something,
I'll talk to her.
I don't expand on it, I don't.
It's just important that the information trickles down
Yeah.
to us.
Okay,
Because if you guys vote on something and it's not shared with us, then
yeah. And then the next question I have, because obviously our budgets aren't the highest. When it comes to us fundraising or making money for the committee, for example, movies at the park, we sell pizza, soda, popcorn, things like that. For Spring Fling, we sell tickets for the ponies, tickets for the petting zoo, tickets for face painting, things like of that nature. I was told by our liaison that we cannot use those monies, that money goes to the town and not to the committee.
no, that money goes directly into your.
Cause I was told differently, so I wanted to make sure. I don't know if he's
The
not
correct-
informed, but. And nothing against Ernie, I love Ernie, but at the same time, we've done it, that's why you were our liaison in the past. And we've made money and we can use that money to buy supplies or fund
Yeah,
events and stuff
the
like that.
fund, any funding that you receive from any ticket sales or anything that you sell should go to supplement that event and to, grow the event or make it a little better or.
Like sponsorship money.
Yeah.
Sponsorship
That's what I
money
wanna-
it's for use by your event, hopefully for that event.
For that event.
And if there's surplus, then that really, that should be carried over to the next year for that event.
Okay,
Because you, especially the sponsorships, right? You go out and you solicit to XYZ company and you tell them, "Look, this is gonna be used for this." So if there's that, the sponsorship money gets used first
of
because
course,
those sponsors are expecting that their dollars are going for this event.
got it. So yeah, we have that on March 30th with our spring fling. And then we have in September, our bike rodeo and safety day. Like Jonathan said earlier, our attendance went up last year tremendously from the years past, where we had 2-3 people to over 300 people, 200-300 people show up, not at one time, but walking in and out. A lot more things going on, and hopefully we can get that done again this year. We noticed that September, I know it's not bike month, but it is a better time to do it, better weather, less rain. And not too much going on. Summer, it's not summertime, it's not spring break time. It kind of gives us a gap. There's not a lot going on in September.
When in September are you talking about?
What do you,
Yeah, I don't see us.
I don't think we have a set. It was, yeah. But it's like, I think last year was like a 26.
It's like
It's cooler.
the second Saturday or third.
Yeah,
Saturday.
because we're looking at doing that walkathon somewhere like the third week of September. So we just want to make sure we deconflict.
Alicia?
what do you owe the success of the last one compared to the other one? Was it? Advertising?
Yeah, like that. We got the information way ahead of time.
Yeah, I think we planned it
Yeah.
over half a year in advance, and that's what I've kind of
That's
been
what we
pushing
need
the
to.
committee.
It's something that the members, and again, we have to run it by the members to approve things, but they need to understand that the sooner we get, like, we already have our band for 4th of July, thank God.
And it's on the calendar too, as
Okay.
entertainment,
So,
so
and
we can-
we're planning, trying to get a subcommittee meeting to start working on the budget, because I know things way up in price. But we wanna get those things out of the way, we don't wanna wait till the last
Yeah,
moment,
think
never
about
wait
it.
till the last moment, because.
Think about it like this, for example, Halloween. Halloween is our first event of the budget year, and I believe it's the town's first big event of the budget year. We plan that event now, before we even have a budget for the event. That's one of the things that I hate about that event is we don't know how much money we're gonna get with this event. But we have to plan anyway and go with it. We can't get something, but we start planning 6 months in advance. I know.
I think
I
8
put
months
it
to a
Halloween
year
on the-
is the best.
Yeah.
The agenda last meeting and everyone's like, why is Halloween there? I go,
We have to.
we gotta start
Like,
working on it.
finalizing event details like a week before it kills me, because then it's, you know, I will not spam a fee just to get it out there. It has to be something that's organic and leads up, and when we have information and entertainment, we can.
No, we
It-
always be
it-
waiting till the last moment, and then luckily we get some good bands, but it's hard.
And I do want to thank public safety. They're always on all of our events, on the safety aspect of the event, just keeping an eye out. So thank you, Nancy.
kids, you know that. And you.
Nancy shows up, all the volunteers know Mama Nance, so that's awesome. And I invite all the other committees to come out and see how we do things. We bring in over 150 to 200 volunteers for Halloween, 100 volunteers for spring fling, and other volunteer opportunities. I know this week, I think last week, we brought out volunteers in our own committee to go look for sponsorships and go sponsorship hunting. I don't know how they did. I haven't talked to them yet. But just as a push.
On the new website, we have forms built in, so one of them, if you go to our website /sponsor, it will take them to a form that, you know, if you select, I'm interested in sponsoring 4th of July and the Veterans Parade, it'll send the respective liaison a message, and then we can give them the information, so. Yeah, our website /sponsor.
Yeah, so I think what our biggest, for example, what our biggest issue is when it comes to our events is I think we just voted to raise the prices of some of our sponsorships. For example, Halloween is such a large event that needs more funding. So we raised that title sponsorship to, I think, like 6,000 or 8,000. Then we raised the middle tier and the bottom tier. And I think that's the same that's gonna happen with all our events. Or as the events get bigger and things get more expensive, we gotta raise those prices, but then people don't wanna pay. But at the end of the day, they're also getting this exposure. If you look at a TV ad or a radio ad, those things cost around $20,000. just to put out there, you're paying for a spot. So we get 15 to 20,000 people at one of our events, they're getting a bang for their buck when it comes to showing off their company.
I have an idea. Because I know they have to go looking for the committees and some people. can-
I will say, it was a
find
little
it.
confusing
Why
finding the
can't,
committees
can
on the
you,
website.
why can't you put like a little, instead of search or whatever, just put like a little something that they see, oh, sponsorship, you wanna sponsor, boom, you know, like they do in some other websites. Something that's an eye catcher thing.
So it's under our town services tab. It's
I wish there was
under
like a
our,
committee tab.
There is?
there's,
No, but you have to click on one tab to go to another tab to find the
Yeah.
committee tab.
so the government drop down shows the committees and boards. Sponsor info is there. It's on our department page. It's on, visitors.
Multiple ways of getting.
Our-
it.
People are lazy at the end of the day, if I'm being honest. I know.
Everything can't be on the
I know.
homepage.
No, but that is critical, especially for
Sponsorship.
him and us. We have trouble getting sponsors. And if someone can just say, oh, sponsorship, yeah, I want to sponsor, and then they don't have to look for everything, and then they go.
What I will say though is my committee specifically has gotten very strict with sponsorship. Salvador knows the situation. We had someone commit for a title sponsorship of over $6,000 and never gave a check and backed out after we put them on everything. So I think, I don't know if the town could put out a rule or
Well,
I'm definitely gonna do it. If you want a sponsorship, I need to have the check. in
Yeah,
hand.
personally, that's what we follow, so that may have been a miscommunication where we were told to put a logo and there was no check yet. Cause
So question for you guys, if someone signs the contract and they back out, they could just back out?
what contract? We don't have them sign contracts for
No.
that.
Isn't that sponsorship form? or
It's just a
contract?
reply form.
It's a reply form, and when we have the check, that's when
We
we
don't,
start to.
that's
honor
why,
things.
Well, when the check clears the bank.
Well,
Cause that, for example, we
We're
were
very-
supposed to have a third movies at the park, and the reason we didn't was because of that sponsorship literally dropping out last minute.
I
yeah,
can
so
tell you that I've updated the
Literally the night
sponsorship.
before, you dropped out and didn't give a check, no. And
So-
after we advertised.
Maybe a comment that you can make to your top attorney about, I know that for the committees I work with, we've added a disclaimer language at the bottom. That's why we have them like sign and fill out that reply form, because at the bottom it says your, what is it? Sponsor recognition will not be given until payment is received. And I'm glad you bring that up, because we've had committee members in the past, like, harass us that we need to get their logo on there. Because they're a returning sponsor, and how are we not gonna give them credit? But this is kind of what happens, where
Yeah.
we allow ourselves to be nice and not have business handled before we get on there. So I'm glad we're all.
Trust me, I know. I didn't know what was happening either. I thought he had given the check, because we had the same issue last year. Where he committed $6,000 and only gave us $1,000.
yeah, it's good if the committees, really start getting their noses into the packages, because we've been able to tailor. I think a good example is the
Like
parade.
events have gone by, we picked up on issues such as that and
You know,
like added it into the.
This sponsorship level will get you, you'll get mentioned.
Yeah, which is
In
what.
Facebook
Mark
and
has
the
done in
newsletter.
past.
But this one, if you're just a drink sponsor, maybe you'll just get a 10 and a speaking opportunity. So
Which I
it's,
think we also put in a sponsorship just for like in kind for like food for volunteers. I think we.
right, yeah, like a drink sponsor can get a very specific set of recognition, so they're not saying, where's my logo? If we can apply the logic to us not posting these flyers on social media, we're not gonna promise your logo, your specific logo on our social media page. But if like at Halloween, Memorial is a title sponsor, we have a photo of them, of their stage.
Yeah.
They have a big Memorial Healthcare stage banner.
They're awesome.
And you have a photo of a child holding the bucket, getting the candy filled, and then the Memorial logo is on that bucket. It's natural inclusion. So if your committee wants to get like very specific on packages, just so we're all on the same level, I think that'd be really good for all of us. to
Yeah,
start
I
getting.
think we went through that last meeting when it came to sponsorship packages, right? I think we went through every single event that we had, and we kind of reevaluated everything. Raised prices for things that needed to be raised.
And when
If I'm being honest, a title sponsor for Halloween at $2,000 is.
That's a perpetual process for all the communities.
but when you're specific, the sponsors will come in, like for the Ranger Run, we up the prices and we were very specific, you will not get your logo here, here, and here. They still pay because we can at least tell them, okay, you're gonna be included in the video, and then we can also say, in that disclaimer, we'll tell people, or we'll tell the businesses, for your recognition, that you have to be present. You can't just, say, oh, here's $500 and I'm gonna get my logo on it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we talked about was if you get, for example, you pay, we have, let's say, gold, silver, and bronze for our sponsorship levels. If you're a bronze member, that's almost like you're just giving us money for the event. We're not giving you anything else. You're not getting a tent, you're not getting anything. We cannot advertise at our event, things like that. You get, I'm just giving an example. This is not completely correct, but you go to silver, then you get a tent, or you get at least recognition, things like that. We have more into detail like that. If you don't give a certain amount of money, you're not gonna get a certain amount of perks. Everything has to have more perks than the other. You can't give the same perks, and you can't just give one perk more than the next. Because there are different dollar amounts going.
Question,
Yes.
if I may. Listening to both of these gentlemen here, my question would be, if I were to be a sponsor, is that universal regardless of the event? And is that in writing, in print somewhere to be handed out to any of these potential sponsors? For instance, Joe Blow's Ice Cream wants to do something with youth activities for Halloween. Are the rules for that event the same as what they would be for another event
No,
for that same thing? So the rules are
couldn't
changing
be.
constantly.
Well, they're not changing, that's why
just
they.
different.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
Well, all right,
tailored.
but they're different.
They're
So-
tailored.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, like
Tailored to the
Halloween.
event and the,
And the audience.
Yeah, I'll give you
I
an
got it.
example.
Okay.
For example, Halloween, we've done it before, and I think we're looking at doing it again, was you could sponsor different sections of the Halloween event. We had a sponsor at the haunted house, we had a sponsor at the trick or treating event, we had a sponsor at the pumpkin decorating area. Every section had a sponsor, and then there was an overall sponsor for the whole event.
because there's that much variety in that particular event. But if somebody is having an award ceremony and whatever, and they want to sponsor the purchase of the 2 plaques or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That should be fairly standard. So someone coming to the town saying, I would like to sponsor a particular event, you hand them a sheet that tells them what the rules are on that particular event.
Yeah.
And so it's specific to the event.
yeah, that's why the
Got it.
form, you
Got
pick which ones you're interested in, and we'll send you specific forms. for
Okay,
it.
super. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I have. If anyone has any other questions.
All right.
One quick question which I forgot to ask when I was doing my presentation. I know, there's rules that we cannot wear on committee shirt around town, but let's say that we wanna meet with someone who's gonna be a potential sponsor. Let's say, you know, I want to show up my t-shirt, so they see that I'm official, and have my business card here. Is that allowed as an exception or business? Huh?
I'd say so.
Hard to do it.
I have
When
to-
I go-
I have to look at the rules and get back to you.
Yeah.
Like if I go to a
Is that
sponsor,
allowed?
a potential sponsor, I wear my shirt because it shows professionalism instead of going in normal clothes. They know who I am.
You know, my favorite, if I may jump on this bandwagon, my favorite is when I go to somebody and I say, you know, we're having a police and fire appreciation breakfast, you know, and they want to know, what is your name? Do you have a card? That business drives me nuts because no, I don't, that kind of thing.
We have blank cards that any of you can request.
Nobody told me that when I joined and when I became a chair of the public safety.
No, but speaking of that, I was happy when I got him, but when I looked at him real close, it says Town of Miami Lakes Building Department. We're not the building department.
So then you have the wrong card.
Okay.
All right, anybody have any final thoughts? If not, a motion to adjourn is in order.
Where do I get my card?
Second, all those in favor, say aye. Enjoy your dinner, guys.